Commission on a quasi-judicial item must fill out a blue card and will be sworn in by the clerk prior to speaking. A representative for a group or organization may be designated, but the representative will be allowed only 3 minutes. The pooling of time is not permitted. For each quasi-judicial case on today's agenda, a presentation will be made to the Commission by a representative of the city administration, staff, the applicant, and any registered opponent will each have 10 minutes for their presentation. Following the presentations, all persons in attendance who have filled out a blue card located on the podium will be given 3 minutes to speak. If you have filled out a card, you will be called by name and asked to approach the podium. All statements, questions, or testimony must be stated in front of a microphone located at either podium on each side of the room to ensure all audio is recorded for the record. When addressing the Commission, please begin with your name and address and state whether you have been sworn in. Once members of the public have had a chance to speak, cross-examination will begin. During the cross-examination phase of the proceedings, city administration, the registered opposition, if any, and the applicant will each have 5 minutes to ask questions of any witness. Questions should be directed to me as chair. I will in turn redirect the questions to the appropriate person for response. Following cross-examination, rebuttal, and closing statements will begin. During this phase of the proceedings, city administration, the registered opposition, if any, and the applicant will each have 5 minutes to provide a rebuttal and closing statements. If there is no registered opponent, any person who wishes to be a registered opponent may register as a registered opponent with the DRC clerk prior to the beginning of the initial presentation of the case and may participate in the limited purposes of cross-examination and rebuttal closing statement phases of the hearing. If more than one person wishes to utilize the time for the opponent, the opposition must select one representative to present their case. After rebuttal and closing statements, the public hearing will be closed and the Commission will go into executive session. The Commission may ask questions of the applicant or the public at any time during the proceedings. All motions of the Commission are made in an affirmative manner. With a quorum of 5 or more commissioners, it takes 4 concurring votes of the Commission for any motion to pass. Once the Commission has voted on your item, we ask that you continue any conversations outside if weather permits. This will allow us to move forward with your fellow St. Petersburg citizens' DRC matters. Thank you for your anticipated cooperation. Finally, I ask if you turn off all cell phones and similar devices during these proceedings. At this time, please rise so that we may begin the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Again, if you're going to be giving any testimony or statements today before the board, please rise to be sworn in.
Do you swear that the evidence you give today will be the truth, the whole truth? In my pledge. That was one of the questions. We'll go through roll call.
And roll call, please.
Yally, Flint,
Here.
Kiernan,
Here.
Lemons, Griner,
Here.
Blatt,
Here.
Conroy,
Here.
Adelo, Hugglestone, Gonzalez. We have a quorum.
We have a quorum, thank you. At this time, since we only have 5 members of the board, do the applicants have the option of deferring for having 6 members, or?
Yes, all applicants that have not already chosen to elect, who thought we might have 6 today, we had unexpected absence, so now we're down to 5. This will be the 5 voting members. All applications to be approved require 4 votes, no matter the number. So if you haven't already spoken with your planner and you would like to defer to the next meeting or future meeting, please let them know now, and we will, when we come up and call your item, if you haven't already let us know, then Chair will ask you again if you're electing to go forward with the 5 that we have here.
Thank you. All right, do we have an approval of the minutes from the January 7th, 2026 hearing?
Move approval?
Do we have a second?
Second.
Mr. Griner? And roll call.
Yes.
Flint,
Yes.
Platt,
Yes.
Conroy. Yes. Griner.
Yes.
The minutes pass unanimously.
Thank you. We do have one public comment card. That is Mr. Peter Belmont. If you could approach either podium.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Peter Belmont, 103 Wildwood Lane Southeast. I can smile and say I'm not used to speaking to you so early in your meeting, so thank you. What I want to do, in some ways maybe it's not necessary, but just speak about the importance of Central Avenue. And it's such, a backbone of our city, a backbone of our economy, a backbone of what attracts people. And I say that to the context that later today you have the start of some discussions about what to do in terms of increasing densities in what we are referring to as the Sunrunner or Bus Rapid Transit Corridor, which obviously includes smack in the middle of it, Central Avenue. And so I did want to note, I hope you're aware of it, but about a year and a half ago, Preserve the Burg, with financial support from the city, published a study about the importance of Central Avenue. Appropriately, it's titled Keeping the Vibe Alive, the Impact of Historic Preservation in St. Petersburg, and part of the focus of that report is Central Avenue. It notes that Central Avenue has a disproportionate economic impact to the city as a whole, and even though it takes up a very small portion of the city when you look at the area of the city, it has a disproportionate number of businesses, disproportionate number of local businesses, minority-owned businesses, women-owned businesses. It's also had, between 2010 and 2020, a disproportionate impact on the economy in the sense of a 67% increase in the retail trade jobs compared to less than 1% in the rest of the city, a 300% plus increase in accommodation and food service jobs compared to 20+% in the rest of the city. So again, the numbers are all in the report, the facts are there, and what I suggest you need to be concerned about is putting in place incentives that are going to take away what keeps Central Avenue alive and so important to our city. And that's the mix of the old and new, the buildings that provide the location for local businesses. And so if we go about as a city increasing densities in combination with incentivizing that increase in density, like saying if you build in that corridor, you won't have to provide parking, may be a great idea on the one hand, but what happens if we start losing some of those small buildings, historic buildings, block by block, that provide the robust economy to our city? And so it's important, and I can again say, I don't know that I really need to tell you that, but I hope that you will keep that in mind as you have your discussions about what happens along Central Avenue in the midst of that corridor. Thank you.
Will you be providing that report during the workshop?
I would be happy to. I did not bring copies with me today. I can bring copies. I can provide the link. It's all online, etc. So thank you.
Very much. And since it's public comment, there's no for or against. Thank you. And we have no other blue cards at this time. Okay, we have a few deferred cases. So if you are here, it's been posted on the doors both downstairs and on the entry doors here. I'm going to list the following cases that are deferred. Case number 25-54-000057 regarding 2901 38th Street South, deferred to a future meeting date. So if you're here for that, that one is not being heard today. The second is 25-54-000112 1008 Montrose Boulevard North, deferred to March 4th, 2026. Last one is case number 25-54-000091 2716 2nd Street North. That's been deferred to March 4th, 2026. So again, if anybody is here for those three cases, they will not be heard today. They will be heard at a future date. We're going to go on to the public hearing section. The first case number is going to be case 25-33-000019 regarding property at 1013 Dr. MLK Jr. Street South. And if we could have staff presentation, please.
Good afternoon. For the record, Cheryl Brigalo with the Zoning Division. So the case before you is a request for a right-of-way vacation at 1013 Dr. M.L. King Jr. Street South. The request is to vacate the dead-end, 20-foot wide alley located behind the subject property, which is outlined in a pink color in the presentation. The applicant owns at least 51% of the linear frontage of the right-of-way. The alley does not contain public utilities, however, does contain utility poles with private utilities. Per the application, the purpose of the vacation is to improve neighborhood safety and allow for future operation of the subject property, the applicant's property, as a community food garden. The applicant provided information about that project in the application submission and is here today. This is a sketch of the area to be vacated. These are photos taken from 10th Ave South toward the alley. The alley has a brick surface for a portion of it. And these are photos taken of the alley by the applicant. In terms of other vacations in the area, there are very few on the west side of Dr. MLK South. There are a few on to the east. The application was routed to city departments and private utilities for comment. So Water Resources and Engineering do not object to the vacation. There are no city facilities in the right-of-way and no plans to use it in the future. They did have recommendations in their review memos. Water Resources recommends that the applicant's lots be replatted into one parcel so they have complete access to the sewer line, which is located in alleys to the west of the property. And Engineering requests that the brick in the alley be returned to the city and that the applicant ensure that the street light is given a private account number instead of the city's account. Transportation and parking management, police, fire, and sanitation have no objections. Duke Energy and Charter Spectrum have facilities in the alley, and granting easements to them is a recommended condition of approval. In terms of public comments, there have been no comments or objections from the public. Letters of support were received from the Campbell Park, 13th Street Heights, and Historic Roser Park neighborhood associations, and those were included in the application submission. No comments were received from Bartlett Park Neighborhood Association or Kona. Staff recommends approval of the right-of-way vacation subject to the recommended conditions of approval, which include a replat of the applicant's properties, compliance with the Water Resources and Engineering review memos, and provision of an easement to Duke Energy and Charter Spectrum to cover their facilities. And conditions 4 and 5 are standard conditions. 5 is about the expiration. It is not needed for future use by the city and does not conflict with or impair the objectives or policies of the transportation element of the comprehensive plan. The applicant will be required to address the needs of Duke and Charter Spectrum and their facilities that are in the alley. And DRC's role in this application is to recommend approval or denial to City Council. City Council ultimately adopts the vacation ordinance. That's it for my presentation. I'll wait for questions.
Any questions of staff member
I
Burgett?
just have one question. Is there any opportunity short of replat for the applicant? It's such a expensive and time-consuming process that I wasn't sure if there were any other mechanisms available to conduct the vacation without the replat.
Well, we are recommending that only the applicant's properties be replatted. So the property to the west of the alley in the NT zoning district does not have to be replatted. That's about all we can offer.
Now, is half of the alley going to the property owner to the west and half to the east? Okay.
So the property is divided, by the county property appraiser manages that under, I guess, county law. So the city doesn't get involved in that, but it is our understanding that if it's within the same plat, half goes between the abutting property owners.
Okay, thank you. Okay. And do we have applicant?
Yes, sir.
Name, address, and have you been sworn, sir?
John Barquette with Looking Glass Initiative. For the purposes of today, the address is 1013 Dr. MLK South, and I have been sworn in.
Okay.
Thank you all for your time today. What I'm going to be showing you is part of a larger project that we're working on in conjunction with two of our hospitals and a lot of our neighborhood associations and the city of St. Pete. It's called Looking Glass Initiative. It encompasses 3+ city block fronts on both the east and west sides of MLK South. Do I have control of the slides, or can you?
You have a control there.
Oh, thank you so much. So that's the basic area. The east side of MLK South between Greenwood Cemetery and 9th Avenue South is basically right now a derelict retail building, 100-year-old retail and parking. And the west side is the lower portion that you see is the former Twigs and Leaves Nursery, which we intend to basically, we're actually in the process right now of converting it into a teaching garden. And then you'll also notice a rectangle to the north of 10th Avenue South, that's 927. MLK South, that's a former American Legion built in 1950. And we're actually working with two of our hospitals to turn that into a community center with a food as medicine, food prescription program, little tech area, clinical spaces, in order to really prove positive ROI to the healthcare system. So that's a whole nother topic, and I won't get down that rabbit hole. But this is the retail across the street. The reason I'm showing you this is we've also been working in conjunction. The crosswalk that you see there is not there right now, but I've been working through the South St. Pete mobility study, and we are getting a push-button crosswalk put in there. Right now we've got 5 lanes of traffic and people doing 55 miles an hour, and there's a school bus stop right next to us by Big C's Barbecue. This is what we're going to be doing to that retail that's been sitting derelict for 30 years. In dovetailing what Peter Belmont just said, this is not a gentrification project. I also sit on the board for the MLK Business District. We have an active call out to Black-owned businesses, not just locally owned businesses. We have 4 solid businesses right now, half of which are local and Black-owned, which we're really excited about, and that will continue. One of the reasons for the alley vacation is, and that's the dotted line to the left, we're trying to line up the alleys between the community center and the garden so that we can get produce easily there without having to go up the sidewalk on MLK. The other is, quite candidly, it's safety. This is what the alley looks like right now. These are current pictures. So we've got illegal dumping. I'll let you guys go, sorry.
Thank you.
I'll sit down and answer any questions that you may have. Do you need me here?
I think we're good at this moment. Thank you.
very much.
All right, since this is a legislative, we don't have cross-examination and closing on that. So we're going to move into executive session at this point. Oh, that's Peter Belmont still. Nope, we do have blue card. Thank you. All right, we have a blue card from Stephen Morrison. Stephen, name and address and whether you've been sworn.
Sure. Stephen Morrison, address is 708 12th Street South in St. Pete, Campbell Park neighborhood, and I have been sworn. I'm also the president of the Campbell Park Neighborhood Association, and you're in receipt in your packet of a letter of support from our neighborhood association for this alley vacation. And I'm here physically in support because this is important to our neighborhood. Really, this alley in particular, other than the utility presence that may be in there, from a day-to-day neighborhood perspective, is a nuisance problem. As you see, there's no walk-through. It doesn't connect anything. There's no city services provided. Frankly, I wish there was a way for the city to administratively vacate some of these things with property owner permission, so we wouldn't have to wait years for an enlightened person like Mr. Barquette to come forward to do it for us. But we appreciate that. But the primary reason I'm here is not only is this alley important to our neighborhood, to get rid of this and put it to a productive use that we can all be proud of, but John Barquette and Julie Barquette and what they're doing with the Looking Glass Initiative is hopeful, inspirational, and is going to bring very positive change to our neighborhood and the surrounding areas, and it's worth our time to be here to speak out in support of that. Thank you so much.
Great, thank you. And for the record, you've marked for the alley vacation on your card. Thank you. All right, no further blue cards. Executive session. Any comments or motions?
I don't know how anybody could be against this, candidly, and strongly in support of it. And I just think Mr. Barquette and folks like that are just, all I gotta say is wow. The stuff, they're taking on a project like this, and best of luck, and glad we can help them out.
Yeah, I echo, and I hope the plating process goes smoothly and efficiently, and this is exactly the kind of work we'd love to see. So, thanks.
Motion?
All right,
I will make a motion of approval to vacate a dead-end 20-foot alley abutting lots 3, 4, and 5 in the Alma Heights revised subdivision, subject to conditions of approval.
Second.
and roll call, please.
Kiernan,
Yes.
Black,
Yes.
Lunt,
Yes,
Reiner,
Yes.
Conroy.
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously.
motion passes. Thank
you.
you, sir. Looking like a good project. Wasn't that a Dick Martin property on the east side? Yeah.
10-year process, we've been trying to buy those properties.
Good to see it cleaned up. Thank you. We're going to move on to the next case. It's a request for a rehearing, case number 25-54-000099. It's 7218 Park Street South, and this was deferred from,
I don't even know. How long ago was this?
I remember this being deferred.
It was. The request for rehearing was deferred
Okay,
from
the
last
request
meeting
was
because we didn't have a full 7, so I believe the applicant is electing to go, but
Sounds good. If we could have,
I think he changed his mind with knowing there was five.
I'm elected to defer.
you want to defer? Okay, thank you.
Are we deferring to
We're gonna
date
defer.
certain?
Do we want to April?
Dropping like flies.
Yeah.
You want to defer to April, sir?
That's the next one, right? Or no, March.
March, sorry. March is the next
Oh,
one.
okay.
I was jumping ahead.
All right, that one's being deferred to March. Thank you.
Need a motion right there?
No.
No, that's their option to defer, so we don't need to vote on that. All right, that one's deferred. Okay, next case is case number 3, which is 25-54-000113. Address is 255 39th Street North. And if we could have staff report, please.
Chair, I believe we should ask if the applicant wishes to defer due to commission attendance.
Oh, yes. Is the applicant here? Okay.
Should we come back to?
Why don't we go to the next one and we'll come back so we can keep maneuvering. Okay, we're going to skip that one for a moment, go on to case number 25-32000010, address of 3501 34th Street South. Staff report, please, when they show up here. Again, we're shorthanded, so we're trying to fit as many in today, so appreciate you working with us.
we're waiting on the staff planner to show. But the applicant has not been asked if they would want to proceed or not.
Okay. And do we have the applicant for 25-32000010, 3501 34th Street South? Do we have that applicant here? Okay, would you like to defer or continue today with the hearing? You would like to continue today? Okay, then if you could stand by, we're going to get staff presentation in a moment.
She just arrived, so she'll.
We'll let staff catch their breath.
All right. I'll swear her too. I figure that. You swear the evidence you give today to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but. I do. This is good to go.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, good afternoon. Adriana Puente-Shaw with the Zoning Division. We're here to discuss today a project located at 3501 34th Street South. The property is approximately 26 acres and located within the Skyway Marina District. Sorry. Currently developed with a Walmart Supercenter and includes indoor retail as well as a garden. I got my voice. I'm sorry.
Stairs get me every time, too.
No, I'm so sorry. I just booked it from the city. The applicant seeks approval of special exception to construct a 1,600 square foot fuel station with convenience store. The principal structure was originally approved in '03 and is along the west portion of the site, with parking located between the existing structure and the east property line. The proposed is there's minimal increase to the floor area ratio and no significant change to both the impervious surface ratio available on site. It's existing site plan. City records show that the property has received various approvals over the years, including traffic change patterns and vehicular access, as well as adding the expansion for a garden center. It also received approvals to allow for maximum height of a perimeter wall fence. The most recent approval was a variance to parking to construct a fuel station, and that was in 2014. The approval was for a 4,000 square foot fuel station and has since expired. The applicant's current proposal is similar to this previously approved request, but proposes a smaller fuel station and is requesting a more de minimis variance to parking count that was already previously approved. The applicant is proposing to demolish existing parking area to construct a new fuel station with 12 fuel pumps. The proposed building is located to the east portion of the site, creating more of a frontage along 34th Street South, and the vehicular access on site will remain in existing curb cuts along 34th Street South and also from the existing Walmart site. City's Transportation and Parking Management Department provided an analysis and memorandum for this fuel station. It's attached to this report and concludes that the Transportation Department concurs with the consultant's projections as far as total trips, external trips, as well as the primary trips to the site. The applicant is also providing new pedestrian access from the sidewalk along 34th Street South across the entire site to the retail center. There's a dumpster area that will be located on the fuel station site, and the vent stacks are proposed along the southern property line. There's a special condition that states that the vent stack shall not be located in the front yard of the building setback and shall be shielded from view with landscaping. The code also requires that a 3-foot decorative wall be constructed in the exterior green yard along 34th Street South to shield the parking lot from the street. The proposed convenience store and fuel canopy shall match the existing style of architecture of the proposed Walmart structure, and the proposed store shall have the same stucco EIFS finish as the principal Walmart structure, and any other visible ancillary equipment shall be screened from the right-of-way, including any rooftop systems. The fuel canopy will be similar to the existing Walmart. It will be flat and made of metal. The flat roof line of the canopy will be similar in materials as well to the convenience store. The branding will also match the principal Walmart structure. The sublet application is requesting a variance to standard of required number of parking spaces in order to construct the convenience store and fuel pump. The required 1,111 spaces may be reduced by code by 10% due to the development's proximity to a high-frequency transit route. By utilizing this reduction, the required parking spaces would only be 1,000 parking spaces. The request is being approved by the city, would allow the development to remove 6 parking spaces in total, thus providing 994 spaces, which is a 1% decrease. The city's transportation department also agrees with this analysis. Sorry. The city code does not address parking requirements based on the subcategories of retail uses, for example, like big box versus a drugstore, or the size of the retail development of standalone buildings versus, again, a big box. Typically, larger retail buildings, the fewer number of parking spaces are needed. Having significantly more parking already on site, the 1% reduction is being subjected to be approved. No comments or concerns were expressed to us before this report was published, and the applicable neighborhood associations, as well as the Skyway Marina District, and property owners within 300 feet of the subject property were notified. Staff had a total of 5 memos from city staff, which are included in the staff report. Based on the criteria, staff's analysis, staff recommends approval of the special exception and related site plan, including the requested parking variance, subject to the special conditions of approval. Thank you, and I apologize.
You did good, thank you. All right, any questions of staff at this time? I do have a question. I have never seen so many bicycle racks for such a small building, and I'm sure it came up. Since this is on the overall Walmart site, could they put those bicycle racks anywhere on the Walmart property to meet bike rack parking?
It was not required for them to install. They're choosing to install the bike racks. When the project was originally developed, it did not require the bike racks. They're putting it there and also providing the pedestrian connection from 34th Street, be it for associates or just pedestrians that are coming through. So they've connected where the bike racks are proposed. There's a 300-foot pedestrian connection as well. We can ask them to move some towards the building, but again, it wasn't something required. They're just proposing them out of their own goodwill.
Okay, so city's not requiring it,
Right.
they're doing it. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, seeing no other questions, staff, we can move on to the applicant. Make sure.
Do you want her to bring up your presentation?
Sure.
Okay.
Thank you.
If you could state your name and address for the record, please.
Yes, sir. Ross Lemoyne with CPH, address 5601 Mariner Street, Tampa, Florida.
And have you been sworn today?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. And please proceed.
Okay. So, like we just saw, we're proposing a Walmart fuel station. The project consists of a fuel station within the existing parking lot. Like you saw before, here's our plan. So we are requesting a parking variance as previously stated, but I just wanted to touch on the point that the parking area furthest from the store is usually underutilized on a day-to-day basis. So this project will improve the overall site functionality and bring more business to the area. In our trip generations, we foresee no issues with site circulation or intersections in the area. As most trips will be internal or pass-by trips, there's no need for a traffic impact analysis. And the site lighting for the development will not encroach on adjacent properties, and existing stormwater system will be utilized. and there'll be no increase in runoff from current conditions. And any questions?
Do we have any questions of the applicant? Okay. I'm just going to ask a question about those bike racks. When I was at the property just checking the other night, there's 8 bicycle racks on the Walmart property that I noticed, and they're between the liquor store tucked into a back corner. Wouldn't it make sense to have more of those bicycle racks in a usable location up towards the main building? Because the overall goal here has always been, you know, how do we make it so people can ride their bikes to the grocery store? And that Walmart has a grocery store and all the other items that Walmart services. You're basically a football field away from the main structure, so if they're going to get some groceries on a bike, which we're trying to encourage, would it be better to put a majority of those bike racks up towards the main building?
Yeah, we can definitely do that.
Okay. I just see this, you know, being not used there because it's a 1,600 square foot building and it's too far of a walk at that point. So,
Yeah, I understand.
is that something that Walmart would be willing to move to somewhere that's readily visible on the property adjacent to the main structure?
Yeah, so Walmart will definitely be, accept that if it's what you want.
Just trying to keep in tune with the connectivity for people, pedestrians, whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and have them lock their bike 100 yards away from the main building. To
Yeah, they would understand your request.
Thank you. Any other questions for the applicant? All right, we're going to move into cross-examination. Staff, please. Wait,
Any blue cards?
any blue cards on this one? No blue cards. Staff, please. Wave. And applicant, any cross-examination?
No, sir.
Okay. And this is cross-examination of any testimony given. There will be a closing statement in a moment.
I'll make a closing statement.
There we go. Okay. That's usually what happens here.
Staff waves.
Okay, staff waives closing statement and closing statement.
I'm Matt D'Angelo. I'll be the engineer of record on the project. 5601 Mariner Street, that's our address. You know, I'd just like to say, you know, the bike rack question. I've been sworn in. Regarding the bike rack question, well, I mean, we'll have to take it back to Walmart to review if it'll be available up there. You know, they're pretty particular about the front of store, you know, walkways and relationship it has with their customers. But I think the bike rack in its current location, you know, provides an intermediary between, you know, people coming from the right of way going to the store. So if you're getting groceries, you got to come from the right of way. You pass right by that bike rack area. It's large. You know, if we were going to hold that many bike racks adjacent to the store, it really would disrupt the pedestrian traffic in the front. So we'll consider that. And again, you know, that's something that I think the variance hearing is not related to. Just the parking is in question here, and we can work with staff to find the best location for that rack. That's all I have, if there's any questions.
Okay. We're going to move into executive session if we do not have any questions for the applicant. Okay, we're moving into executive session here. Any questions?
I have a comment that, I mean, you raised a good point about the bike racks. They put it on the plan. And it's a bit perplexing to me that we're putting so many bike racks on a gas station. Just saying. And if our goal is to get people from 34th Street on a bike to purchase their groceries, as you so aptly put it, a football field away, I know that Walmart's a good corporate neighbor, and I'm sure that would not be a problem. I understand you can't represent what they want to say today, but you're here today as their representative, with all due respect. So I wouldn't mind seeing that being a condition of approval if we could. But personally.
that idea.
Yeah, so,
Yeah, when I was there, the bike racks were tucked around the corner. It was dark. There was one bicycle there with a flat tire. One way to encourage pedestrian access to a property is give a open, obvious, safe location. And my initial thought, seeing where it's at, is I wouldn't put a bicycle there, especially when you're trying to get people to come buy bags of items that might be of limited mobility, and a bicycle helps them, that you don't have appropriate, readily accessible. You know, dragging bags of groceries 100+ yards across a parking lot. And my guess is, Corey, are these bicycle racks, those are what helps count to the parking space counts, right?
Not in this instance, but you can use a substitution. The code allows you to substitute up to 20% of the required parking towards additional for bike parking. But it's not required to be used to substitute. We do have minimum standards for short-term and long-term. And again, that's going to depend on the size of the commercial building. So, you know, since a building of this size may require 4 short-term bike spots, which are typically 2 inverted E-racks. And then you can provide more than that if you want to eliminate parking.
Yeah.
That's required by code.
The convenience store would require parking for 4.
So the convenience store, again, that one's probably, depending on the size, I think it's less than 2,500 square feet, so it's gonna not require anything.
Not require anything? And the main building would only require,
So if the main building, I think, is like, it's probably 100-some thousand square feet, it's like, probably gonna be, might be more than that, might be 6 or 8 short-term spaces.
okay, thank you. Any comments, motions, recommendations for condition of approval?
Yeah,
So you're,
I'm sorry, go on.
so your issue is that they are putting like 100 bicycle parking spots on this by the fuel station?
Right, 100 yards away from where the majority of those folks would go to.
Yeah.
It just seems not workable to get the use of those bicycle racks, which encourage that pedestrian.
Yeah.
It's just a very odd,
does seem
unusual
odd.
space.
Does seem odd.
Yeah.
Okay.
I will say though, 34th Street is not exactly a bicycle road, and we're gonna, you know, I'm sure we'll hear a lot of that later. So I'd caution us not to put, you know, form over function in terms of the practical implications, you know, and I think if there's if a condition of approval would be that they take reasonable steps to relocate those to a more efficient location, I think that would be just fine for me.
When we look at the overall marina district that they're trying to do, they're trying to make it much more pedestrian friendly down there. And with the additional apartment complexes within 1, 2, maybe 3 blocks, that becomes very walkable distance-wise for density of 8-story apartment buildings, 5-story, whatever, that you will start getting more people that instead of driving 3 blocks, they're like, geez, I can get on my bicycle and do it. But if you don't have safe, reasonable bicycle parking spaces, they won't use it. So now you're requiring more of the vehicles to come there because I'm not gonna park my bike 100 yards away and carry my groceries to it. And that's my thought on this. We're trying to get more apartments and make it a more walkable district. It's not gonna be a downtown St. Pete, don't get me wrong.
Well,
but-
I mean, and you mentioned form over function, but like 108 bicycle parking spots, you know, why do we need that many then?
I just want to do a clarification real quick. So for the short term, the code requires 1 per 5,000 square feet. So it's roughly 220,000 square feet, so that'd be 44 spaces for the big box existing store. The smaller convenience exempt because of the square footage. And then long term is 1 per every 12,000 square feet, and that's typically for the employees that would park there on site. And that would, require roughly 19 spaces, so 19 plus 44 is 63. It's typically code. if this was required at the time.
Yeah, my thoughts were, I'd be fine if 2 or 3 parking spaces up near the ADA spaces were converted to bike rack area. That way, they're closer to the building that would meet the pedestrian connection instead of putting 100 bike racks there that will never get used. I can tell you right now, those are never going to get used in their current location. Now you start bringing additional issues of junk, clutter, you name it, because you have this dead zone.
So I apologize, maybe I misunderstood at the beginning. So I think moving a limited amount of bike spaces closer to the building is certainly doable, and but relocating 120, close to the building would not be. So that is something we would be amenable to.
Yeah, I mean, if you were to take 30 of them at least and put them up near the building so that you have that pedestrian.
Right.
And again, I'd be fine if they swapped out a couple parking spaces, whatever it takes to safely fit them in there to meet engineering design code. It's a win-win at that point.
Right, and we can take that back to Walmart and most likely make it happen, and we'll work with staff to, accomplish that.
Okay, so my question for you, would we motion to related site plan, we're going to approve it, but do we modify, do we add a special condition to relocate 30 bike racks closer to the building, adjacent to the
Bike
building?
racks or 30 spaces?
30s. And
Well, you've got,
Is 30 bike
bike
racks?
rack holds 2, because these are the inverted loops. So if you did 30 racks, you're looking 60 bikes.
Commissioners, and Chair, if I may, maybe a condition could be something like the applicant shall take reasonable steps to reallocate bicycle parking between the primary use and the special exception use, subject to approval by zoning and transportation. That'll give you the flexibility. It's hard to kind of plan that now because we don't know what transportation would recommend. We don't know what the applicant can do based on ingress and egress requirements that they may have, and they may be able, then that would allow staff to work with them on this parking space.
You do have an underutilized southeast corner of that property. This will make use of, I've never seen cars there, except for mine when I'm sitting in the middle of the parking lot checking it out. So that gives them flexibility. I agree. If somebody would like to ditto that as a
What Heather said.
condition of approval.
That's exactly.
You can make a motion to that somewhere.
One more time.
Yeah, one more time.
Please.
Add a condition of approval that the applicant shall take reasonable steps to reallocate bicycle parking between the primary use and the special exception use, subject to approval by zoning and transportation departments.
So moved.
Second.
Second, yeah.
And
So who moved in? Who's-
Yeah, no,
Conroy and Grinder.
Ryan moved.
and then Griner.
thank you. Kiernan,
Yes.
Platt,
Yes.
Flint,
Yes.
Griner,
Yes.
Conroy.
Yes.
The motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hold on, go.
Wait.
We have to, that's just adding a condition,
That's
so
it.
now we have
Sorry,
to
we're almost
approve the
there. We're almost
application
there.
with the amended condition.
Chair, make a motion, approval of a special exception and related site plan to construct a fuel station. The applicant is requesting a variance to parking, subject to the conditions of approval.
The amended conditions of
The amended conditions of approval.
Second.
second. And overall roll call.
Kiernan,
Yes.
Platt,
Yes.
Flint,
Yes.
Griner,
Yes.
Conroy.
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you.
You actually-
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now do we want
Thank
to
you.
go back?
Thanks, Heather.
And Chair, are we going to go back to item H3?
Yes, let's go back to item 2255 39th Street North, I believe we're skipping back to. So right now, we're going to hear case number 25-54000113. That's 255 39th Street North. And is the applicant here? And are you good with proceeding forward with 5 members of the board? You're fine with that? Okay, we'll proceed. And staff report, please. Thank you.
Siobhan Chambliss of the Zoning Division. The subject property is a corner lot located at the intersection of 3rd Avenue North and 39th Street North in the Central Oak Park neighborhood. As a bit of background, the subject property is zoned in T2, Neighborhood Traditional Single Family. It was developed in 1945 with the existing single-family residence. In 2024, the subject property was cited by codes enforcement. The codes enforcement citation included the installation of a shed without permits in the front yard and an additional shed in the rear yard. Permits were applied in response to the citation for several additional structures that were noted to be constructed without permits. And after the fact, permitting was applied for 2 patio covers, 2 detached storage sheds, and a hot tub. It was determined during plan review that variances for one of the patio covers and both sheds would be required to maintain the structures in their as-built conditions. The shed located in the northern portion of the lot is located in the required front yard per section 16.60.010.8.1. The shed measures approximately 9.5 feet in height, 10 feet in length, and 8 feet in width. Its front yard setback is approximately 10.1 feet, where the shed would be required to maintain a minimum front yard setback of 25.4 feet in compliance with the NT2 district's accessory structure placement criteria. The criteria requires accessory structures such as sheds and ancillary equipment to be located behind the front facades of buildings. The structure, as seen in the image, would be requesting variance approval for an after-the-fact design variance to retain the accessory structure in front of the principal structure. And an additional request would be for the after-the-fact approval of the front yard setback from 25.4 feet to 10.1 feet. One of the 3 patio covers on the property was constructed in the eastern interior side yard. The patio cover encroaches into the interior side yard setback at a setback of approximately 1.3 feet to the patio cover posts and approximately 0.2 feet or what is 3 inches to the leading edge where 5 feet is typically required. This structure has no allowable encroachment that would permit its proximity to the boundary line. Thus, an approval of an after-the-fact variance to the required interior side yard setback from 5 feet to 0.2 feet would be required to retain the patio cover as constructed. A second storage shed was constructed on the southern end of the lot in its rear yard abutting a 16-foot alley. The storage structure was constructed with a street side yard setback of 7.9 feet or 12 feet is required, and a rear yard setback of 0.8 feet or 10 inches, where a rear yard setback of 6 feet is required. The shed measures approximately 11 feet in height, 12 feet in length, and 10 feet in width. This structure has no allowable encroachments to permit such proximities to the rear and street side yard property lines. The shed's building form, in accordance with review criteria for the design section of the district regulations, is consistent with the residence's minimal traditional architectural form. However, its exterior materials are considered to be inconsistent. The shed has a metal roof where a shingle roof is required, and it has vertical siding panels where horizontal shingle siding would be required to match the residence. This particular structure would require the approval of after-the-fact design variance to allow for the inconsistent architecture between the principal and accessory structure, and also approval of an after-the-fact variance to the required 12-foot and 6-foot setbacks to retain the structure in its current location. Here we have images of surrounding properties that share the same intersection. A review of the subject block and surrounding blocks indicated that there is no predominating presence of accessory storage structures in front yards for corner lots. Pursuant to the review criteria, The special conditions regarding the original development of the residence have found to not be the result of applicant action. The residence's street side yard facing front door is somewhat customary for corner lots as they can face front and street side yards. However, the development of accessory structures seen in the request are the result of applicant action. Literal enforcement of the provisions of the chapter would not result in unnecessary hardship, and strict application of the code would still allow for the applicant to have reasonable means of the property in terms of use. The request is not found to be the minimum necessary to retain reasonable use of the property. In terms of harmony with the purpose and intent of the chapter, the granting of the variance would not align with the general purpose and intent of the code. The intent of the regulations is to maintain the visual prominence of residences from front yards regardless of the orientation of a residence on a corner lot, to reinforce the codified development pattern of corner lots established by the land development regulations for equal application, to visually mitigate the impact of the accessory storage structures where they are permitted, and to discourage the potential proliferation of accessory structures in front yards. The request for the sheds does not appear to be injurious to public welfare or to the neighboring property. However, the granting of the patio cover setback request may result in stormwater runoff displacement to the east abutting property. In terms of public comment, the applicant has notified the association and all property owners within 300 feet of the request. In response to the request, the applicant was able to garner 19 signatures of support, and 9 letters of support were obtained as well. The commission has been provided with copies of the letters of support that were received after the publication of the staff report. Based on the review criteria for the variance applications according to the code section, the applicable code sections, the zoning division does recommend denial for the requested variances, and I remain available for questions.
I had a question. I was a little confused from the written staff report about how the awareness of this non-compliance first came to be. Do you have any information about that?
Yes, sir. So it was the result of a codes enforcement citation that was received in 2024.
Okay. And it was related to the rear storage shed or the rear storage structure, is that right?
The citation was in reference to both sheds having been built without permits.
Okay. Right. Thank you.
Any additional questions of staff at this time? So overall, we generally have three issues here: shed in the front yard, encroachment of a shed in the back, and second shed overall, and the canopy over the
East
side, which visually would be the rear of the home.
In terms of function, correct.
Yes, okay. Would the patio be able to remain, or is it just the canopy is the issue?
The patio cover that's the subject of this application, if the variance request is approved, would be allowed to remain.
Okay. But is there a paved surface under it or a raised deck underneath it?
I believe it's a wooden deck.
Wooden deck? Does that have to meet the same setback?
It's allowed up to the property line because it's less than 12 inches.
Okay, great, thank you. So just the structure over the patio deck. Thank you. Any questions at this point? All right, we will move on to the applicant. If we could have the applicant at either podium. Ma'am, if you have anything that you want to show on the overhead, you'll want to go over to this one here if you need to show something on the overhead.
No, if I am.
Now, are these photos that you have already presented? Because we have a lot of photos that were provided to us.
Okay, so I just wanted you guys to kind of know what I was talking about when I was saying it.
Okay.
So,
First step, if you could please state your name and address for the record and whether you've been sworn in.
yeah, Rebecca LeMay and 255 39th Street North, and yeah, I've been sworn in.
Okay, thank you.
So this little shed on the side of the house, which I learned the past year and a half that it's considered the front yard, even though I've been there 16 years, I'm just finding this out. The gentleman that delivered the shed, he actually had a city worker come out. It's been there about 13 to 15 years, and he had a city worker come out at the time that said because it was under 100 square feet or under, and the location was fine, that it didn't have to be permitted and that it was fine. So it's been there for like 13 to 15 years now, and it's used for storage. And then the little back deck on the back of the house, if I can find it. The little rear deck, when I purchased the house, the old homeowners had a deck there. Unfortunately, I have had almost 30 dog rescues in this house since I bought it 16 years ago, come April. And when the dogs ran out, they were like just coming off the 3-foot porch that they had back there. So I extended it. It's probably been there 15, 16 years now. At the time, I had called the city to see if I needed a permit, and they're like, well, is it under 100 square feet? And I said, yeah, but I never thought about the setbacks at that time. And even the roof, it's still like on my property line, but this whole process has been a big learning experience for sure that I've shared with all my neighbors. So I've kind of educated them through the process as I've been educated. And then the little back 120 square foot shed, both the sheds are just like the common shed material. The little red one was just delivered to the property. It wasn't built there. But the little beige shed was built by a gentleman. Unfortunately, he passed away a few weeks ago, but he owned Florida Sheds, Joe Capanilla. And he assisted me in doing this for my brother through the continuation of COVID because my brother could no longer go to his program. So I was trying to think of a fix for him, and this is what I came up with. And then we put a exterior bathroom kind of on the outside, which is covered from rainwater and stuff, because my brother counts. And with him counting, he couldn't make it to the far side of the house to go to the bathroom, so he was going to the bathroom in his pants. So we put a little exterior bathroom on the outside. Unfortunately, the gentleman who built the house for my brother fell ill and needed heart surgery during the project, and he never followed through with permitting it, and I had no knowledge until about a year and a half ago. So that's the little beige shed on the rear of the house. And Adam does his art. That's Adam sitting over there. He's supposed to come up and say hi, but he comes over 5 days a week for 3 to 5 hours to do his art and stuff, so he can have just kind of his time for him during that period. So that's what that shed's used for, is his art time. But that's all I have to say. I just want to kind of explain what everything was.
So you have a shed that's in the front, the legal front.
Yeah.
That does not have the air conditioning, but it's the one that you consider the backyard and is the backyard. That's the one that had the air conditioning, the exterior bathroom, and that your brother utilizes, correct?
Yes, correct. We didn't do the air conditioner at first, but after the first summer, of him being really hot back there. The fan that I had back there wasn't really sufficing. So we added the little split unit in the back.
Now, are you finished with your statement?
I
don't
think
wanna
so.
use time. Okay.
Yeah.
Were you ever able to obtain permits for any of the plumbing, any of the air conditioning?
Yeah, so I have permits on everything. So even the little red shed that I was told years ago that I didn't need a permit for, I have a permit on that. The little porch that I was told I didn't need a permit for back at the time, you know. I got a permit on that, and then also the little back area. So everything on the property has been permitted.
Okay. Thank you. Any other questions for the applicant?
Wait, I'm confused. So
Yeah.
how do you have permits for things that you're requesting after the fact variances for?
Because everything's been filed with permitting. They just cannot finalize the permits and the inspections until after the variance
Right.
meeting,
You
yeah.
don't have permits.
Well, they're pending, yeah.
Right, that's what
Yeah,
I'm hearing.
yeah.
So there's been no permits on anything issued?
Not issued, no, not until after this. But
And Corey, or in the city, Shervon, Mr. Chambliss, in the city system, does it show whether or not it's passed plumbing inspection, plumbing plan review, et cetera? Do you have that information?
So all of the permits are still undergoing plan review. They haven't quite gotten that far as of yet.
Okay. So a permit's been applied for, but it appears that none of the plans have been approved, and specifically individual sub-trades have not been approved yet.
Right.
Okay. So clarification, it looks like there is no permit. It's not pending release of zoning. It's just hasn't been approved at all from,
Yes, the
from what it
applicant is
appears
still
to.
working with the departments through plan review.
Thank you. Okay, any additional questions of applicant?
Sorry, when were these built, each of these? Or I guess the little red one was installed? What years were they
the
installed?
little red one was delivered, it was between 13 to 15 years ago. And then the other one was built for Adam I think 3 years ago.
Okay. Any additional questions this time? All right. We're going to go ahead, thank you very much. We do have a blue card. Thank you, Kayla. All right, do we have Jessica Limbach? And either podium, name and address, and whether you've been sworn, please.
My name is Jessica Lembach. My address is 4410 8th Avenue North. And yes, I've been sworn in.
Okay.
I just wanted to make a few points. I'm a neighbor of Rebecca, and she and I had the privilege of serving on our neighborhood association together. She was our vice president, and I was the secretary. And I only bring that up because I want to display that she is a rule follower, and she is very much a huge part of our community and our neighborhood. She's done a lot of good for the neighborhood. She follows rules. So she would never deliberately not permit something. The confusion lies in how the house is situated. And I don't know if you can tell from the pictures or not, but when they say the legal front yard with her being on a corner lot, when you're facing the house, the front door of her house, which is the front of her house, that front yard is facing her address, which is 39th. But they're saying that the legal front yard is around the corner on 3rd. So that's where anyone looking at that house would not say that that shed is in the front yard. The shed is on the side of the house, as you would put any shed either on the side of the house or behind the house. No one in their right mind is going to plop a shed down in their front yard. It's not the front yard, legal or not, it's just not. So I think that's where the confusion lies. And I just think I'm really in strong support of doing an after-the-fact variance, as so many of our neighbors are, because as you can see from the pictures, her house is in pristine condition, and many of us have written a letter stating that. It looks beautiful. It's a very nice house. Nothing looks out of place. It doesn't look junky. It doesn't look like things are not where they should be. it makes sense. The layout, the flow, everything makes sense. So hopefully you can tell that from the pictures, but I just wanted to come here in person in support of that and kind of as a representative of many people in our neighborhood, because it's been a topic of discussion. As soon as we saw the orange sign in the yard, we were all like, wait a minute, what's going on? So, so everybody that I've spoken to thinks it looks perfectly fine as it is. So thank you so much.
And for the record, you have marked 4. And just to comment on some of what you've said here, this is a very common thing in St. Petersburg, that you do get a lot of these corner properties where what has the front door, looks like the front of the house, is considered the side. So these types of cases typically pop up every couple months before this board. It's usually related to people wanting to put like a swimming pool
Right.
in what is technically the front yard.
Right.
So this is something, when you talk to your neighborhood association, let them know that, yes, there's a lot of people in a similar situation.
Yeah, none of us knew that when it came up, we were all.
Most people don't.
Yeah, we
It's-
didn't, so.
You would look at the front door and assume it's the front, so.
Right. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Okay, moving on to cross-examination. City, would you like to cross-examine?
Staff waves.
Staff waive. And applicant, would you like to cross-examine any testimony given? Well, we do have closing statements that you get to do.
Yeah, I just want to make a quick remark about a measurement on something, because I know that it's important.
Well, let's come up and we'll see if it's actually a cross-examination question. I can't tell yet.
I forgot to say something, sorry, I'm a sensitive person.
Wait, if this is a comment, we could save that during closing statement in a moment. This is just for you to question somebody on a specific testimony.
Yeah, so just something that Shervon said about the height size of Adam's little art shed. The gentleman who built it had checked off the wrong thing on the plans, and Shervon and I had discussed it at one point. So the shed is not 11 feet tall. It's actually under 10 feet. So I just wanted to let you guys know that, because I think that's important.
Questions? I mean, it's not a question.
Yeah.
Is that a question?
No, I'm just letting you guys know. That's all. Okay.
We're going to move into closing statements. Staff, closing statement.
Staff waves.
Staff waives. And ma'am, would you like to give a closing statement at this point? Or was that pretty much it there, the clarification on the height?
Yeah, I would just like to say that, I hope you guys, see for the variances. I really take pride in my home and my neighborhood, and, I've had the things on the property for many years, except for Adam's little art shed. It's just been a few years, and unfortunately, the gentleman that built it for him becoming ill and never permitting it, and if I would have known that, I would have just addressed that, at that time, but I had no knowledge until I found out about a year and a half ago. But I love my property. I love St. Pete. I've lived here for 40 years now, and being in my home 16 years, we're slowly growing out of it. So I'm just trying to make the most out of what I have.
Thank you.
That's it.
While you're there, question for you. So your brother Adam does not live in the home. He lives elsewhere, group home?
He
something?
lives with my mom.
With your
and
mother?
they live
but
2
comes
minutes.
over to
Yeah, they
use
live.
it for his class?
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to close out, move into executive session. Any questions, comments?
Okay, I'll lead off. I'd ask the panelists, is there any way of fixing any of these? Can they be moved? I mean, because when I look at this case, I mean, clearly the applicant is a wonderful lady, great neighbor, neighborhood association. I don't question her sincerity at all, or her veracity. But Shervon had no choice at all on this one. I mean, these are just, I'm sorry, but these aren't even close. And I think back to our last meeting, I mean, we're having somebody take down a house because of setbacks, basically. And I feel terrible about it, but I just don't see any way that this can be remedied, or that this board could approve these because of our longstanding rules, which are very well founded. And Commissioner Flynn, you make a great point. I mean, before I served on this commission, I had no idea about corner lots, but I know about corner lots now. And they are not always as they appear to be, as we all know. So as much as I'd love to support this for all the right reasons, but I come back to our regulations, and I just don't see a way to yes, personally.
I can't remember any case on these corner lots with the front being what looks like the side of the home where we've approved any structure other than maybe a foot or two decking around a swimming pool and the swimming pool itself, because those are items that they sit below the sight line of any fencing. You really don't know it's there. I have a concern mainly about the shed that is in the technical front yard, that I'm not seeing much of a way around for that. Maybe the contents of that shed could be moved to the rear shed that is utilized by the brother. And I hate to do it, but we open the door to everybody having the same thing for a storage shed in the front yard. I'm more open on the rear shed in a way, a little bit of an ADA content here of giving some kind of a allowance on the rear structure. And whether or not it meets an ADA standard, I don't know, but
I was thinking on the rear that there appears to be room to move that off the rear property line by a couple feet, and then, yeah, and then you're talking about the degree of a variance being much less in magnitude and feels consistent with some of the things that we have done in the past, because I also sort of feel compelled to work to get to yes on this.
yeah, I think this is a unique set of circumstances here that I think we all recognize compared to a lot of the others. I'm compelled to what could be done, and if it's a shed that's on a wood floor, there is the possibility of moving it. Will it cost several $100s? Yes, but we at least meet that requirement for that setback. And what, if we could ask staff again, what is that existing setback of the structure in the rear yard, Mr. Shamlis?
It's about 10 inches.
10 inches? And what would be the legal setback?
6 feet.
6 feet? From the photos, it looks like there's room there, especially if that exterior bathroom were to go away. I'm thinking about the applicant's comments about the reason for that restroom being there, but there might be additional options for solving that without having something that requires permitting. I'm looking for any feedback anybody's willing to offer on this.
It's a difficult one. I mean, I think we all feel for the personal story, right? And I mean, it kills me to hear that. I'm kind of like you, Commissioner Kieran, I'm just frustrated that we've gotten to this situation. And I would be sympathetic to allowing the rear yard shed, bringing it more into compliance, I think, though, is appropriate. I don't really see why they can't fix the patio cover or move the front yard shed, though. So I'm willing to, not budge on those two and find an accommodation on the rear yard shed.
Yeah, patio cover appears to be even shedding water towards the neighbor property, and it's so close. You could still utilize the deck, use an umbrella system, something, and not have to have the canopy over it. It's that back structure that's most concerning to me.
I'm kind of concerned about the, I just went through the city comments. There's a lot of, on the permits in process, and they're not comments that are insignificant. They're comments of, hey, we need a foundation detail, hey, we need a roof framing detail. So these are some pretty significant, issues, and unpermitted buildings that people are living in or using is a dangerous thing, in my opinion. So, I'm not too.
I know it, looking at the pictures of that when it was air conditioned, it was not insulated, had exposed Romex, and even though it was air conditioned, they still had vents in the gables. You could see it was venting, so your air conditioning was venting to the exterior. Did it work for its purpose? Yes. Does it meet code? No way does it meet code.
I throw this out, does the applicant want to withdraw this or get a continuance in light of the conversation there? I mean, I'd feel much more comfortable if the applicant would come back and say, okay, I've heard you and I can do this now, these types of things. I don't know, because I don't think it's our job, nor should we engage in trying to engineer this thing for these folks,
Right.
That's kind of what we're heading towards. And
Yeah, we can't
do that.
engineer this. And
no one feels good about this one. I know
Mr.
that.
Chambliss, do you know if, and I don't know if it would be appropriate for this particular owner, St. Pete N team for assistance in a situation like this for that rear structure, has information regarding St. Pete N team been provided? Do you know?
To my awareness,
Would be provided to them?
we could provide information. It has not up until this point.
Mr. Chambliss' report is spot on. It doesn't meet anything. I would like to see, if possible, provide the information, whether or not they would qualify for in-team assistance, no idea. But it might be something to help with potentially moving that structure to meet the setbacks. But it still goes back to permitting. You might be looking at a non-conditioned space still at that point, without bathrooms and everything else because of building design requirements.
And just to be clear, if we were to grant the variances today, the use of this space would still be subject to compliance with the building department approvals, is that correct? As to the rear shed?
So the permit is for it as a storage structure. So that's essentially how we have seen it and have been reviewing it in plan review. But again, we've been working with the applicant on both the building and the zoning side to make sure that we understand in totality what the actual end goal is. So if it's being used as accessory living space, that's something different. But permit application materials, if I'm not mistaken, don't make reference to it as an accessory living space. So we've been treating it as a storage structure.
But even if it was a storage structure, the issuance of the permit would be conditioned upon the approval of a variance. But the reverse is not necessarily true. If we grant the variance, it could still not pass the permit, the plan review process, in which case the variance is not applicable, right? Or not valid, or, yeah.
I don't believe that they would take effect. I think it's
Right.
potentially
Yeah,
what,
that's the phrase.
if you were to go through plan review and you were unable to overcome plan review, would the variances take effect? I don't believe so. That might be a question for legal, but
Chair, Chair, if I may. Commissioner, if you grant the variances today for each of the structures, then a structure of that size will be allowed to be in that footprint. Now, whether those are compliant with Florida building code, that isn't going to be affected by your variance today. So they could still fail, since they're all in permitting now, they could fail for permitting. They would just be allowed a structure of this size in that footprint.
In that-
based on the variances.
That's exactly, thank you for
Now,
interpreting my
I
thoughts.
know that several years ago, we did approve a variance on something. It was related to a trailer that's improperly parked in a front yard. In hindsight, Michael Dima had said, I really wasn't comfortable in hindsight on that one, where we approved for a lifetime, and then it goes away. But my understanding is that's really not enforceable, that once you give the variance, it runs with the land. So it could be there for the next 200 years for all we know, that you can't put a time limit on that.
Correct, and
That's not even an option.
And that's separate from the reasonable accommodation process with ADA. Now, that's a completely separate process that's not before you, it hasn't been applied for in this case, but that runs with the individual who's requesting the accommodation. So that's the difference between that and a variance.
So that may be an option for them to go that route, potentially under an ADA, which is based upon a lifespan.
That's another option, it's another application process. I don't know if it would be granted in this case because of the degree of the accommodation being requested, and that's a different group of folks that do that one.
And I appreciate the lengths the board is going to try and assist in this situation, but it's kind of looking like there's not a lot of room on this, in this case. They have potentially the N team, they have potentially the ADA application, but as it stands, I'm not seeing a lot we can do on this one. Would anybody be ready to make a motion?
Would the motion be in three pieces or just by way
Well,
of?
I think the mood of the board is probably all three, just
Okay.
one motion.
I'll make a motion then, approval of after-the-fact variances to 1, setbacks, 2, accessory structure location, and 3, accessory structure design, subject to the conditions of approval.
Second.
And we have a second, and roll call, please.
Griner? Oh, sorry, Kiernan?
No.
Blatt?
No.
Flint?
No.
Griner?
No.
Conroy?
No.
Motion fails.
I'm sorry, the application has been denied, but we do recommend check those two options that we've discussed here. They may provide a path for you, okay? Okay, we're gonna go on.
I gotta leave it 3, so.
You're leaving at 3. What is let's see, our next case here is, which one are we on now?
The last one.
The last one. All right, we're gonna see if we can get this one here, because if we don't, we lose a quorum.
And he wouldn't be able to vote?
Yeah,
We don't finish.
Elise Batzel for the record. My concern would be that if we get part of the way through and then Commissioner Blatt is not here, and then at the next meeting you have a different group of people, and we've already.
Yeah.
So if it's a cutoff right at 3, can we find out how many opponents would be speaking so we can kind of see if we.
okay, on 3200 34th Street South, do we have any
There's-
registered opponents?
A registered opponent. Is there anyone else? I'm sorry, I'm taking it.
Several blue cards, so that's gonna drag the time. I wouldn't be surprised if it's gonna drag past 3.
Yeah, we have allotted 10 minutes for staff, 10 minutes for applicant, and 10 minutes for registered opponent. That will get us to the end of the RTM, so.
So we will have to defer this one.
March.
Defer this one to March.
Yes, the
March
applicant.
4.
Okay, everybody good with that? Defer of this case until March 4th?
We starting at
Yes.
6 a.m. on March 4th?
To be
I said, are we starting at 6 a.m. on March 4th?
We might. Might go to 10, who knows? All right, we're going to go ahead and just, we don't need to vote on it because it's a deferral here. So we'll see you at the next March hearing, and hopefully we'll have a full quorum for that to finish up.
But we will have time now to do the workshop, I believe, Chair.
Yes, Okay, any final questions here related to any of the cases? Without, I'm going to go ahead and adjourn, turn TV off here. And DRC is adjourned.
Morning. I love to specialize.
When I was working still, we did surveys along the trail, and on any given weekday, we found about a third of the users were using it as a commute alternative.
If you've never tried the Pinellas Trail, I urge you to do so. You can walk it, you can run it, you can rent a bike. At just about every few miles, you'll find a bike shop that's got bikes for rent.
And we've had people come in and verbalize like their thanks, but also like you just see them out there and they just look radiant. They look awesome, they're healthy, happy, and you can tell that they're glad they're doing what they're doing. We're just appreciative that we had a part in their success.
Trails give me the opportunity to really get out there and feel safe. There's bike lanes in some places, but to have a fully dedicated place, that helps a lot. It's more than just a long stretch of pavement, it's a community.
The trail is a wonder that brings everybody together.
Sit, hike, go. Go, go, go.
I'm Officer Middlebrooks. I work with the City of St. Petersburg Police Department. I am assigned to the Police Athletic League.
And I'm Officer David Lopez, and my role here is to interact with the kids, create a positive environment, and be a positive role model in their lives. The idea of a police athletic league is very important.
It is important. It's important to have police officers interacting with the community.
It gives us as police officers the opportunity to create those relationships and change that mindset that police are there just to take you to jail. That's really not the case here. Kids know they can come here and have a good time and interact with police officers in a positive way. A lot of times they don't have certain resources, so we try and provide those resources for them. We have mentors here, we provide homework help, we provide recreation, we provide snacks.
My favorite part personally is probably the mentoring aspect of my job. There was a kid, they were having some problems in school. I started mentoring and having lunch with them and just giving them some positivity. And the teacher told me that they were doing better in class, that they were looking forward to having lunch meetings with me. So that made me feel really good, and it felt like I was definitely making a difference.
When these kids come in, it brightens their day to see the consistency of having a positive role model in their lives.
Foul on 3. 1, 2, 3.
A lot of times when they first start here, they may not take on to us as well, but as time goes on, you can see a relationship develop. There's one kid that started when I first walked into the center. He would hide behind tables. The beginning to the end period, from when he wouldn't even talk to me, he would hide from me, to now all of a sudden he can come up to me and give me a hug. That was a huge, huge difference. I always feel great coming to work. I mean, I know I'm gonna be having a good time with these kids, and we're here for a cause. We're here for the kids, and we want to make sure that we're putting them on a path to success. So being in a position where I can directly impact these kids on a one-on-one basis every day is a pretty good feeling, knowing that, hopefully these kids are changing for the better, and hopefully I have a role in that.
Good morning and welcome. Good morning. I don't think we could have found a better day to be in St. Petersburg than this weather, with no clouds in the sky, talking about building something that's so important for our community. I'm Jeff Brandis. I'm a former state senator, current president of a group called the Florida Policy Project. We work on 4 areas of public policy: housing, insurance, transportation, and criminal justice. But really today we're here to talk about building more affordable housing. So it's exciting to be involved in the conversation, not only on the policy level statewide, but actually doing it in person and seeing and going through the process of actually building a project like this. So it's kind of go back to the old hair club conversation where I'm not just the president, I'm also a member. But it's exciting to be a part of this, to watch it grow, and to think about the history of this property. This property has been everything from an orange grove to a seaborne rail line For the last 50 years, it's been in our family's care as a lumber company. And when we think about what the history of the lumber company was and what it meant to this community, I mean, Tibbetts Lumber and before that, Cox Lumber really grew this community and grew along with it and helped build many of the houses that you and I live in today, whether it's the trusses, the windows, the doors. But it's exciting to watch, and I'm honored to be joined with 4 generations of my family today. My parents, Russ and Mary, are here. My sister, Polly and Tyler, are here. My sister's kids are here, and we have a great-grandchild that's here as well. So it's exciting to be part of that and watch kind of a part of a family legacy that will continue for hopefully many, many more years. So I'm honored to be part of this, honored to be with you today, and it's just exciting to watch what's happening in our great city. So I'm here right now to introduce Monsignor Gibbons, who's going to give the invocation and bless his property. So Monsignor Gibbons, welcome.
The work we are beginning today should enliven our faith and make us grateful to God. We know the familiar words of the psalm, "If the Lord does not build the house, in vain do its builders labor." Whenever we look to the interests of our neighbor or the community and serve them, we are, in a sense, God's co-workers. Let us pray for God's help during this celebration, my brothers and sisters, that God will bring this construction project to a successful completion, and that his protection will keep those who work here safe from any injury or harm. Let us pray. All-powerful and merciful Father, you have created all things through your Son and have made him the unshakable foundation of your kingdom. Through the gift of your eternal wisdom, grant that the undertaking we begin today, for your glory and for our own well-being and the well-being of our community, may progress day by day to a successful completion. We ask this in your most holy name. Amen.
No project like this takes place without a partnership, and we have had a great partner in the city of St. Petersburg. So now to provide some remarks is the mayor of our great city, Mayor Ken Welch.
Appreciate it. Good morning, everyone. To our community partners, community members, and friends, thank you all for being here. Senator Brandis, I know not of this hair club that you speak of, but I understand it's a great thing. It's an honor to bring greetings on behalf of the city of St. Petersburg as we come together to celebrate the groundbreaking of the Fairfield Avenue apartments. I'd also like to acknowledge members of our city council, our chair, Hanowitz, who you'll hear from in a few minutes, and other members of our city council. I also want to recognize members of our great city team. Administrator Rob Gertis is here somewhere. Rob, wave your hand usually. Rob, give him a hand, y'all. And administrators Amy Foster and James Corbett are here as well. And to all members of our St. Pete team, thank you for the great work that you all do. You know, I think about convergence of our past and our journeys and our missions, and I just think about Cox Lumber. I do remember Cox Lumber and Tibbetts Lumber, Jeff. My mother-in-law lives 1 block away on Fremont Terrace, and so that's where my wife was when I was dating her for 10 years. I managed to wreck an IROC Z turning off of 5th Avenue. I'll never forget that. And I know Councilmember Fick Sanders, I think, is in a PSTA meeting, but of course she's a proud Gibbs gladiator. And you just think about the convergence of all of our missions and how through our work together, in a few short years, right where we're standing, there'll be 264 new affordable and workforce units right here on this property. And we all know it's no secret that the most urgent challenge facing our city is affordable housing, access to safe, affordable housing. Today we're taking an important step in an ongoing commitment to housing opportunities for everyone in our community. Now, the city proudly invested $9.7 million in CRA funding, and I do want to thank our county commission for being strong partners in the CRA. Commissioner Latvala, thank you for being here. And Madam President of the Florida Association of Counties, Commissioner Renee Flowers, thank you all for your support as well. But when folks ask about what the South St. Pete CRA does, this is one example. $9.7 million helped make this possible. And in St. Pete, we have a track record of leading the state when it comes to affordable housing innovation. We don't wait for solutions. Our team sets the standard. Last year, we cut the ribbon on the Bayou Court Apartments, an innovative public-private partnership that prioritizes housing for our teachers, for educators, and for city employees. And we've also led at the policy level. St. Pete successfully advocated for and became the first city in Florida, again, thanks to City Council's leadership, to adopt the Yes in God's Backyard, or YIGBY provision, empowering faith communities to use underutilized land to create affordable housing. You may have seen an article, I think, in the Times today on that. And today, this partnership builds on that legacy of delivering affordable housing innovation. Now, the state passed legislation a few years ago to permit the development of affordable housing on industrial zone land like this. And St. Pete, again, was the first city to take advantage of that opportunity. And our presence here today is a direct result of that action and that vision. It's just a bonus that it's located in one of the most vibrant and growing parts of our city. You know, we're right next door to the Warehouse Arts District, home to some of the most talented artists and creatives, and steps away from the Pinellas Trail. These homes will sit at the center of it all, giving future residents easy access to the culture, connectivity, and amenities that make a great community. All workforce and affordable housing at this site. That's worth giving a hand to. So in closing, I want to thank our partners at Pinellas County, the Housing Finance Authority, the Pinellas County Housing Authority, HP Capital Group, and all of our public and private partners who believed in what was possible here. I also want to thank Senator Jeff Brandes for his leadership and his vision through many years of service. Today's groundbreaking is another step towards a St. Pete where growth is shared and everyone has a place to call home. I know I'm upsetting the baby, so I'm going to close. We are St. Pete, and God bless y'all.
When my grandfather immigrated here in the 1940s, I can imagine little else he could think about than kind of starting a family, and starting from kind of when I kind of first heard the early stories of him. It was about him, before he owned a lumber company, was just adding siding to homes or redoing the foundations of homes. And I think about that we're building a foundation of affordable housing for many of those in Florida, and especially in St. Petersburg. The genesis of this property was really a conversation I had with our hospitals. I was talking to the hospital leadership while I was in the legislature, and they were talking about what a struggle it was to find housing for some of their employees, and that how many of their employees had to live across the bridge. And so I was thinking, as the family was thinking about what we're going to do with this property, how we could utilize this to help kind of solve some of that problems. And so I remember getting in the car at All Children's and driving and seeing how quickly I could make it to this property. And it turns out it's 6 minutes. So imagine you have a property that's 7 acres, 6 minutes from downtown, and able on the Pinellas Trail next to Gibbs High School, and you realize what a unicorn this was and how important it was going to be for our community. So I'm excited next to bring up Chloe Firebaugh, who is the chair of the Pinellas County Housing Authority and the board, for the Board of County Commissioners. Chloe.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here today. Standing on this site together, it's hard not to feel the weight and the joy of this moment. After 5 years of planning, problem solving, and persistence, we're finally breaking ground today on 264 new affordable workforce housing units for our community. That alone is worth celebrating. But this project is more than just the number of units. It's about the families who will live here and the kind of community we are intentionally creating. These homes, as the Senator said, are designed for working families, the parents balancing jobs, school schedules, and rising costs, the people who keep our local economy moving and still struggle to find housing that they can afford. The development says something important to them. You do not have to leave your community to build a stable life. We were intentional about the amenities included here. It's not just housing. It's a place to live, to grow, and to belong. Families will have access to safe outdoor spaces, areas for children to play, spaces for neighbors to gather, and features that support health, connection, and quality of life. Affordable housing should never mean settling for less, and this project reflects that belief. Getting here took time. 5 years ago, this was just an idea. Along the way, there were a lot of challenges, financing hurdles, regulatory complexity, changing markets, and movements when it would have been easier to just walk away. But no one did, because everyone involved understood that projects like this are not quick, but they are worth it. I want to thank our development partners, lenders, elected officials, staff, and community supporters who stayed committed when the process was hard and the timeline was long. Your perseverance is literally what made today possible. And to our future residents, know this: these homes are being built with intention, care, and respect. They are meant to support families, create stability, and offer an opportunity for generations to come. At its core, this groundbreaking represents a shared belief that affordable workforce housing is essential infrastructure, that families deserve quality places to live, and that when a community commits to the long game, real progress happens. Today, we turn 5 years of work into forward motion. We break ground not just on buildings, but on possibility. And thank you all for being here to be part of that journey.
It's exciting to think about what we're building here today. It's also kind of strange to think about that a family that's building that comes from a lumber company is building a building out of concrete. Well, I'm excited to introduce our next speaker, which is Neil Brickfield. Neil, at the end of every conference call, which were weekly and sometimes bi-weekly, would constantly remind us of our mission, which was to build great affordable places for people to live in our community. So I'm excited to introduce Neil. Share your wisdom here.
Good morning, everybody. Neil Brickfield, Pinellas County Housing Authority Executive Director. Wow, what a turnout. What a day to celebrate, isn't it? You know, the senator's right. About a year ago, I got on our first closing call, and it's not like when you buy a house where you have 1 3-hour thing of signing. It's a lot more complicated than that. There's just 20 lawyers there, not even the other people. And I thought, we needed to be talking about our mission. And Pinellas County Housing Authority is a mission and value-based organization. So our mission is to provide quality, affordable housing and improve the lives of residents. And we finished every meeting with that. And also with the promise that the day is going to come where we're all going to be celebrating and holding shovels in our hand, and the day is here, isn't it? Nobody's going to remember the pictures of us, right? We're going to be faded pictures one day. But what people are going to remember is this was a milestone on the important thing of changing people's lives. Young people are going to grow up here and only know a great place to live. Young families are going to be able to work and not be stressed out all the time. I can't promise that, right? Providing quality, affordable housing means we live with dignity and we have a chance at the American dream. I'm so proud on behalf of the Pinellas County Housing Authority. We're living our mission today. This is how it feels. Thank you so much.
So I learned to drive a forklift on this property years before I learned to drive a car. Probably not legally, but definitely learned a lot. It was a skill in our family, and the way that you earned respect is if you could pick up a quarter off the ground with the front of the forks. That was like, you've made it. You know how to drive these things. And so luckily that was something that I practiced time and time again, was picking up quarters with the front of a forklift truck. I'm excited for our next speaker. Chris Latvala and I have been friends for a long time. We served together in the legislature, and I can think of no one else from the county commission that I would rather hear come talk about than the great work that we're doing in the county and the state to bring more affordable housing. So Chris, welcome. Thanks for being here.
Thank you, Senator, and I wanted to start by recognizing my colleague and friend in the audience, Commissioner Renee Flowers, whose district we are sitting in, and where these great affordable apartments will be in. And I learned a lesson recently. I missed a few meetings late last year due to an illness that I had. And when I came back, I discovered that I was voted vice chair for this year. And part of that is I have the honor of coming to events like this and speaking when our chair is unable to. So it is an honor to be here. A lot of people ask why it's so important for Pinellas County and our cities to back affordable apartment developments like Fairfield Avenue. The County Commission is making a big investment, $12.4 million from our Penny for Pinellas to help these apartments get built. Our residents pushed for a small portion of the penny sales tax to be committed to projects like these, 4.15% of the total fund, but that small portion makes a big impact over a decade. Our county commission continues to hear from our residents that having homes that our workforce can afford near their jobs, as the senator talked about, is critical to the future of our neighborhoods and our local economy. We're glad to see private developers and our local, state, and federal partners step in to make projects like this happen. But a lot of times there's a funding gap, and that's where we as a county commission can step in. We filled the funding gap that makes it economically feasible to build 264 apartments for people at a different range of income levels. What we get in return for this public investment is a guarantee that these homes will remain affordable for our workforce for the long haul. There's a 99-year land use restriction on all these homes to keep them affordable for our residents. We're glad that so many partners around the county committed to the same goals. Our cities like St. Petersburg, the Pinellas County Housing Authority, and the Florida Housing Finance Corporation, and so many others. On behalf of the Pinellas County Commission and all of our residents, thank you for the continued commitment to creating local homes for our local residents. Thank you.
Our family has been able to employ so many great members of St. Petersburg here over the years, and it's amazing how many people still to this day come up and talk about the stories of going into my grandfather's office, some of the conversations he had, and walking the halls. It was often you would see him here at 8 o'clock in the morning and 5 o'clock in the afternoon, walking here. My dad's office was at the very end of the hallway. And so every time I would come in or get in trouble, I knew that, all I had to do was look down the hallway and know whether it was a good day or, I was going to have a conversation at home too. But so many things have happened on this property for our family and so many memories over the years. It's just incredible to see how this is going to change and know that this is going to be, again, in our family, not only for the last 5 generations, but for the next many generations as well. I'm excited now to introduce the chair of the County Commission, Lizette Hanowich, who is going to give some brief remarks. City Council. I gave you a demotion, sorry.
That's okay. That's okay.
Good morning.
Well, this is one of those few days in St. Petersburg when you're kind of the last speaker at an event like this and you look at the crowd that's in the sun and they're not melting, which is a good thing because it is a gorgeous day. So thank you to our mayor, my fellow city council members, State Senator Brandis, and the Tibbetts family. What a legacy that you're leaving behind here. This is so fantastic. The Pinellas County Commission, the Pinellas County Housing Authority, the team at HP Capital, Cass Construction, and everyone who helped us get these shovels in the ground here today. Now, as we all know, affordable housing projects are not easy. And lately, when we hear about legislative changes at the state level, many of us brace ourselves, much like we did for that recent cold front. But in 2020, when the state legislature passed House Bill 1339, as our mayor mentioned, it opened the door for affordable housing in places such as this, which were industrially zoned areas. And this community got to work fast. At every step along the way, City Council voted unanimously to support this project. In 2021, we updated our city code to create a clear pathway for developments such as this. And in 2022, we approved Fairfield Avenue Apartments as the first project under that framework, followed by the necessary funding approvals. Those unanimous votes did not happen by accident. They were possible because the city, the county, the housing authority, and the development team did all the hard work. They stayed transparent, aligned, focused on the same goal. That made it easy for council to keep saying yes. Even though the delays and rising costs, no one compromised on affordability or lost units, not because it was simple, but because we knew it was worth it. And when Pinellas County increased its investment, the city stepped up as well. And today we're seeing our $9.7 million investment turn into real progress on the ground. This project has been called a unicorn, and it's for a reason. 264 affordable and workforce units, permanently affordable, built to last, connected to transit, the Pinellas Trail, and everyday services, and managed by the Pinellas County Housing Authority. It's rare to check every box, but every once in a while, the stars do align. I'm proud of this team, proud of the project, and I look forward to coming back when these buildings are complete and to welcome our residents home. Thank you.
As many of you know, I'm a pilot, and so one of my favorite quotes is by Amelia Earhart. Says, "Once you've made up your mind, the rest is just tenacity." And there has been nobody more tenacious about getting this project done than Angelo Capelli with HP Capital. So I'm excited to bring him up here. And over the last 5 years, many phone calls, many late nights, many early mornings, many conversations about this project and many others. But he has been incredibly tenacious in helping us get this across the finish line.
Thank you, Jeff. Thank you all. This is a wonderful turnout. On behalf of HP Capital, my partners, Nick Hansen, where are you, Nick? And Fred Hemmer, we are very proud of this project. We were all born and raised here. Fred moved when he was 2, and so we count that. We are incredibly proud to be part of this project. And I'm trying not to get emotional, but when Jeff approached us, we shared the hallway. We were on some other common projects, and my office was down the hall from his. He came to us and said, "Hey, the lumber company's thinking about selling our old property on Fairfield." And he said, "We're thinking about listing it." And I said, "No, don't do that." And partly because I had been working ministry work from St. Paul's. Thank you, Pastor Gibbons here for the invocation. And I had been working 6-7 years as a volunteer ministry work, basically making calls in some not so nice motels on 34th Street of people really needing a little bit of help. And because I knew that this would be a good location, I didn't know about the rules, I didn't know about the HB 1339, I just knew that the location itself would make sense. And so we opened up our notebooks, started taking notes, and did the things that we good developers try to do. And we approached the lumber company's board. Fred came with me. He's got silver hair, so he always looks wiser than I do. And we were able to convince the board, and we promised them, just give us 2 years, and we'll get it done. It took us a little bit longer. Rob Kapusta, our attorney, I think there were 82 closing documents when it was all said and done. Rob and I joked, I think the project died 3 times, but when you have a unicorn, you grab it by its tail and you just don't let go. And I'm very proud of all of our partners. Highland Mortgage out of Alabama really coached us the last 4 years, never gave up on us. Our contractors, certainly the city and county, all of the mayor has been very supportive the entire time. That we worked so long on this project. There's a staff member. Is Mark here? Mark Van Loo, are you over there? Mark and I have a love-hate relationship. He was originally with the county, and we worked so long on this, he finished the project working for the city. That's serious connective tissue. We're very, very proud of being part of this. Cox Lumber donated lumber to me for my Eagle Scout project 40 years ago. I had the honor and pleasure of getting to meet the granddad a couple times. Just a wonderful family. I'll give you one trade secret. I'll give you all one trade secret that really helped the project. Our closing process, I think somebody alluded to it, was over 6 months. A Tuesday conference call, sometimes twice a week, but usually every Tuesday, and it looked like the old Hollywood squares. There was no less than 24 people on that Zoom call trying to keep everybody together. And one of the early calls, I got a little snippy with somebody on the call. And after the call, somebody called and said, Angelo, you got to take it easy on that person. And then 10 minutes later, somebody called and said, Angelo, I'm so glad you gave that person the business. And I decided this is not good. If it's going to be a public-private partnership, we got to keep the team together. So here's the trade secret. I started having breakfast. I ate breakfast on Tuesday morning before the meeting. So I never got hangry again. It was kumbaya from then on. We got all 82 documents done. We put the entire capital stack together, and we're able to close and get ready to start moving dirt. Thank you, everybody who helped us with this project, most especially my partners and our family and our friends and this administration, the City Council and the County Commission. And also, last but not least, we want to thank Pinellas County Housing Authority. We needed one last piece of the puzzle. My partner, Nick Hansen, came up with a clever idea. I'm going to take credit for it. And Neil Brickfield and Chloe, thank you so much for helping us get the ball over the goal line. God bless you all. God bless St. Petersburg and Pinellas County.
Well, we're in a great state, we're in a great county, we're in a great city. But at the root of everything in this country are families. And so from my family to your family, thank you for being a part of today. And we look forward to welcoming 264 different families here in a couple of years for the ribbon cutting. God bless you, and thanks for joining us.
Mi nombre es Lisette Hanowitz y yo soy parte del Consejo Municipal de la Ciudad de St. Petersburg. To me, a trailblazer is someone who sees opportunities that others can't see. Sometimes they see a world that doesn't exist. And I think people that are trailblazers has this burning desire inside to do something. And that doesn't end when they blaze that first trail. I see more and more people coming from different places and calling St. Pete home. And I think our city council is reflective of that. It's shocking, but we're still in an era where there is first. What really became clear to me what my trailblazers were as I got older is my mom and my family. And you don't appreciate the struggles they go through until you're older in life, and then you can see how difficult it was for them. And my family came from Cuba in the 60s through the freedom flights, and they left the country to go to another country where they didn't speak the language, completely different culture, and brought nothing with them and started anew. And if that's not a definition of a trailblazer, I don't know what is. My mom passed away last year. And when I won the primary, my mom was alive, and I was able to share that with her. And I wish I would have been able to share it with her that I won. The fact that my family left Cuba for freedom, and here I am being an elected representative. My family left a place where there are no elections, and I was elected to represent our city. That made me very proud, and I wish my mom would have been able to see it. It made me so proud that my daughter saw me be elected. She was so excited, and all the other little girls, her friends. And in me, they saw themselves. And I think that's important because there were times when I was a child, I didn't see elected representatives that looked like me. We all bring our life experiences that are so different from each other. And the more diversity you have, the more life experiences you have, and you're not in an echo chamber. You're able to make better decisions if you do have diverse points of view. I think people think it's better when everyone agrees with them, but the only places I know where everyone agrees are places like Cuba and not free societies. In a free society, you should have discourse. And with discourse, diversity is important. I think everyone needs an example or someone to look up to. I think our kids need an example of what can happen in their future. And I think we have a diverse community, and that diversity should be expressed in every institution in our country. So once we do that, I think we're going to see more and more people participate. It's never too late. I had to drop out of school when I was 16 to help my mom work and pay the rent. And I went to school at night while I got my bachelor's and my MBA, and I went to law school at the age of 30. My path wasn't the normal path. And I think sometimes people think that it's too late for me. I can't get that degree. I can't learn that skill. And it isn't too late. I think if you want to do something, you should do it no matter what age.
Hi, I'm Aurelis, and I'm the owner of the Happy Snapper food truck, and we've been in business for a little over 3 months.
My name is Raphael. I am a full-time charter captain here out of O'Neill's Marina in St. Petersburg, Florida. I've been doing it probably for over 20 years. The role that I have in the food truck is pretty much I am the fryer. She pretty much puts everything together, makes it look nice and pretty going out.
I do everything else. I've always cooked. I mean, I've been cooking meals for my family since I was 12, and I'm not talking about like boxed macaroni and cheese. I mean, like full meals. And it's just something I've always liked to do. And my son actually played club soccer for Strictly. We went out of town and we decided to cook for the entire team and all the parents. And ever since then, after multiple teams showed up and ate, everyone was asking us when we were cooking again, and 7 years later, here we are. when I cook, I put my heart into it, so you're getting food that is happy and inviting and
It's fresh. You know, with a little Spanish twist to it, because we do have a couple of things on the menu that is definitely you know, from being from Puerto Rico, you know, we're gonna have some plantains in there, you know, and we're gonna have some rice. Our main thing is fresh fish with a Spanish twist to it.
Apparently we're putting out food that there's not many other trucks doing, and we're getting customers asking, you know, when we're going to be back, where we're going to be set up. We're having breweries that are in St. Pete asking for us to come back to their location because their customers are asking about us. And I feel like St. Pete is a very good place for people that, I mean, they love supporting the local community, local businesses, and it's just a great place for anyone to thrive.
Dear reader, you are loved more than you know.
Keep smiling and shining and being who you are.
The world is lucky to have you.
Happy Pride to you. Celebrate like you should.
Life would be dull without you in it.
Keep shining bright.
Sunshine face.
You are so loved. Do not let anyone ever tell you different.
St. Pete loves you.
We need you. We appreciate you. Thank you for being you.
You are beautiful just as you are, and you make our city more beautiful because you are a part of it.
You make the world more colorful.
You make the world brighter.
Never give up.
You are loved for exactly
who you are. I promise.
The world needs you in it.
Growing up, one of my biggest female role models was my grandmother. My grandmother was an incredible woman. She was hardworking, she was kind, she was sweet, but she was tough. And she really taught me from a very, very young age how important it is not only to work hard for everything that you want, but once you achieve those things, to give back to others.
When you look at who did I look up to, I have to say my mother was definitely the primary one, because she was actually able to take so little and provide so much. She taught me what fortitude was. She taught me what commitment was.
Even in this day and age, it can be really tough for women who are, aspiring to achieve their career goals or their own personal goals for their life. For those of us who are at this level, who have, accomplished some of our goals in life, we have kind of a responsibility to reach our hand out to that next young woman, grab her hand and pull her along.
Well, I think growing up, children learn from those who are around them. And even as they're babies, they mimic everything that their parents do and what they teach them. And I think having the positive role models that are necessary to make the right choices in life, role models are helpful.
Well, really, I think the sky's the limit when it comes to female leadership in our city. I think there is a day when we will have a woman in the mayor's office.
The future of female leadership in St. Petersburg is awesome. It looks bright. I am so encouraged. We take a lot of our lived experiences and we apply logical applications to making decisions.
I am inspired and encouraged by the number of young women who are rolling up their sleeves, getting involved in their communities, and really stepping up to be true leaders.
There was a time where it was, when is there going to be the first female on city council? Then we got to, there's a supermajority of women on city council. And I think that question in terms of whether or not women can be a part of our city and whatever leadership position isn't a question anymore. Women do lead.
Women have such an important role in our culture.
And the future of the women in St. Pete has never felt brighter.
Mentor a young lady or find a mentor for yourself.
Be sure to honor the women in your life this month and every month.
How would you write a love letter to your city? The Sunshine City Mosaic is that love letter. The Mosaic celebrates so much of why so many find St. Pete an awesome place to call home.
3, 2, 1.
Today was the unveiling and the grand opening of the Sunshine City Mosaic. The Sunshine City Mosaic is comprised of 9 different unique vignettes that celebrate our native Florida wildlife. It tells the story of the sunrise on Tampa Bay to the sunset out on the beaches.
It's the longest mosaic in Florida, 175 feet long, 750 square feet, 15,000 pieces, 3 artists. 931 days from the signing of the contract to today. There's really no words for today, for finishing it. It is now out in the world. We did what we could, and it is not ours any longer. It is everyone else's.
I had the opportunity to visit this mosaic one late afternoon around 5 p.m. in the middle of the summer. It didn't take long to realize what a true labor of love this project has been. What I remember most is my children running along the tiles, crouching down to examine the tiniest of details, tracing the shapes of the animals, with their fingers laughing and smiling as they explored and discovered. To them, nothing else mattered except the art beneath their feet. To me, that's what public art is all about. Capturing attention, sparking curiosity, and nurturing imagination.
Art is for our entire city, and we want it to be in every corner of the city, not just downtown. And that is our approach to inclusive progress for everyone. Everyone ought to be able to enjoy the best of St. Pete right in your neighborhood.
I hope that it may not be obvious at first, but after spending some time with it, kind of do notice the underlying story of the east side versus the west side, and the different motifs that really point towards the unique ecological situation that we have here in our county.
What makes Florida so special is our ecology, is our water, is all of these wild and beautiful animals we have just right out in the bay. So I hope each and every person walks along this sidewalk, takes a moment to meditate and reflect on that, and that impacts their future decisions. That to me is really the power of public art.
Today we're celebrating the grand opening of our Sunken Gardens History Center, which is housed in the restored original 1940s entrance building to Turner's Sunken Gardens, one of Florida's last remaining roadside attractions.
Since 1935, Sunken Gardens has been a landmark in St. Petersburg, providing a beautiful oasis in our busy city, a place to relax, enjoy nature, and the joy of gardening. What a great decision this was 20 years ago, because as we all know, St. Pete's become a lot more busy in the last 20 years. And so this is quite an oasis for us to have. The city purchased Sunken Gardens in 1999, and thanks to an excellent staff, volunteers, and a really dynamic foundation, today the Gardens is a must-see experience for residents and visitors alike. The historical assets of our city must be preserved and maintained. And that's why this History Center is so important. It honors our past and the early pioneers who paved the way for the sunken gardens of today.
Behind me is our new History Center, which we're so excited to have and present to you. And you'll notice in the window we have our founder, George Turner Sr., just as he was in 1940. The Gardens is really a family story. It's a story about the Turners that started with George Sr. and then continued through 3 generations. Today, all of you are part of Sunken Gardens history. All of you are here for this historic moment as Sunken Gardens continues to make history.
This was originally the entrance in 1940. Was about 4 years after they decided to make a go of having an attraction as opposed to selling fruits and vegetables. Over the years, it changed usage. When I was a girl, it was what we call the drink stand. More recently, it's been used as an overnight birdhouse to keep the birds safe. But now it's our new History Center. To see my grandfather in the window, it's icing on the cake. It's like he's there overseeing his garden.
St. Petersburg citizens in 1999 voted to tax themselves to save Sunken Gardens. That almost never happens. So my hope is that people understand the importance of historic sites like this, historic gardens, historic places that really give Florida its character. They're the reason that we want to live here. We need to preserve them, and I really hope people fall in love with it all the more and understand the importance of preserving it.
We're at Eckerd College in South St. Pete, and we're kicking off the Spark bus service, which is a great premier service that'll connect with our Sunrunner and give folks across St. Pete, but certainly Eckerd College students, a fast connection to North St. Pete and downtown.
3, 2, 1, fire!
The route is really important because it's one of the busiest streets within St. Petersburg, plenty of capacity for a bus service, and it'll move people along really efficiently. One unique thing about the Spark compared to a regular bus service is that the stops are a little bit more spaced out. You don't spend as much time starting and stopping. And with the service coming every 15 minutes, you also don't really need to even look at the schedule. You just go to the stop.
It's the perfect case for transit-oriented development. You know, you want your jobs, your transportation, and your housing to all connect. And you're seeing that happen on 34th Street South in the Skyway Marina District.
There are a lot of new residential units coming on in the district and a lot of new retail opportunities coming along in the district. So it's really a symbiotic relationship where this bus service will help that development and it'll spark more development, pun intended.
This is the next step, and as folks continue to see the benefits of having modern, dependable, premium transportation, other areas are going to ask for it.
Okay, Kojak, going out. I'll see you later tonight.
We used to live in a world where dog and dog owner only hung out at home or on walks. What if there was a city that treated dogs like people?
Hey, Kojak, you ready to go? Let's go.
In a city where human's best friend can pretty much go anywhere, where you can sip a hot cup of coffee and get an ear rub, where you can shop for fresh vegetables and a bone, where you can stroll and shop and be called a good boy, where you can have drinks with your two-legged friends and your four-legged friends. Together.
Good boy, Kojak.
From the city that brought you Dog Swim Day and 6 dog parks citywide, comes a movie where we will play, fetch, go to work, meet friends, fall in love, and grow up. We all fall in love with our dogs. Now watch our dogs fall in love with the city. It's a great time to be a dog in St. Pete. Now playing.
All right, Kojak, good boy.
My name is Lisa Plani and my business is Dress Up Studio. It's actually a boutique, one of the newest boutiques in downtown St. Pete on the corner of First Avenue North and 6th Street. I'm from Puerto Rico, and in Puerto Rico, fashion is big. I guess like everything started back with, my parents, right? Like especially my mom. My mom loves fashion, and of course, when she had her 4 kids, like everything kind of like all the attention like turned into us. So I was, early introduced to fashion. I had a passion for it, so I really wanted to have a space where I could find pieces, for any occasion. I was in an environment that was highly dominated by male, and I wanted to obviously, keep it professional, but still be true to myself. And, fashion was that, way to really, be able to have fun. St. Pete is very special in the sense that it truly supports small businesses. And I really feel like when you go out there and you have the opportunity to really engage with other business owners, they're extremely helpful as well. And I think that's incredibly valuable. There's something in here for every single person. They just need to come in and play with us.
Water is an issue in the state of Florida. Do you know where our original water source was?
Back in the day, I believe it came from what we call Mirror Lake today. And back then, because it served as the city's reservoir, they imaginatively called it Reservoir Lake. And it supplied the city water for quite some time. And during the Spanish-American War, there would be troop deployments come over from Tampa to get water from the lake so that they could take back to the troops who were waiting to embark to Cuba.
They did. I remember seeing a newspaper article from the day the ships were leaving Tampa, and it almost became chaotic because a number of the ships that left Tampa had to come to St. Petersburg, take on water, go back to Tampa. The speedier ships wanted to leave Tampa and hurry and invade Cuba, and it became just some craziness in the middle of Tampa Bay there.
It would have been chaotic.
Very chaotic.
What do you know about the Coliseum? That was a boom time development, wasn't it?
It was pretty much the place where people went.
Sure.
For entertainment. I mean, you hear some of the stories of the bands that played there, and it was amazing.
Most of the big white swing bands, I think, played there. And because it was in the segregation area, the counterpart in the black community was on 22nd Street South with the Manhattan Casino.
Correct.
And of course, they had all the big name bands come there and play as well.
The Coliseum in the 20s and 30s was kind of like the Amalie Arena of today, where everybody who was anybody musically performed there. But didn't some of the acts perform at the Coliseum and then that same night leave and go play at the
Absolutely,
Manhattan?
they sure did. And sometimes they would gather for impromptu jam sessions in people's houses, I'm told.
That's very cool.
Yes, it is.
My name is Jacoby Chambliss, and I'm a traffic signal technician here with the City of St. Pete. We maintain our traffic signals here. We have the signal heads, we got the cabinets, we have the controllers, we got the conflict monitors. So we just make sure that everything stays operational and safe. This is a very important job. We make sure that people get to work on time. We make sure you get there safely. That's one of the most important things, is just being safe. Without traffic signals, life would be chaos for us. We come in, we get our orders from our manager. We check our trucks and make sure we have everything we need for today. Our orders could be anywhere from maintaining a cabinet where we go out and clean it out and just make sure all the timing and everything's up to par. From there, it could be calls we get in from citizens saying, hey, you got lights out, and we'll take care of different things. That you got poles that get hit. It's always something different. It's a highly hazardous job. You're dealing with electricity, high voltage you're dealing with, the weather. It's a rough job to be out there. You got traffic coming by you, all types of speed. But I can tell you that the City of St. Pete, they take pride in what we do as far as taking care of our signals, and we're out here swapping our equipment out at a rapid pace here. We're trying to change out all these cabinets. We're putting in new controllers. We're doing a lot to make sure the city stays safe and to upgrade and change with the times. Every day is just always an adventure. It's always something more to learn. I enjoy the people I work with. I enjoy the City of St. Pete. I enjoy what I do. I enjoy helping the citizens. I just enjoy what I do, man. It's a great job.
Welcome to Clam Bayou Marine Education Center. This is a place where you can get your feet wet, your mind's engaged, and your heart happy.
This is a marine education center, and we use it for field trips like the one that you're going to have today.
We're here observing an education program, a partnership with USF St. Pete that gives students in our community the opportunity to learn about our environment, to learn about oceanography, and have really a hands-on experience that many of them have never had before.
Ready? Yeah, let's go!
We're going to be measuring surface temperature, we're going to be measuring fish, looking at plankton, really just seeing all the things that, you know, the nature has for us.
What do you see? What do you notice? A shell. A shell. Okay. A crab. A crab.
We teach science the way we do our science. They're very authentic ways of doing things and measuring the cloud cover or the surface temperature. Students are learning to do that from their classroom setting, and then to be the experts by the time they visit Clam Bayou, where they take the same data in a natural, less developed setting and share that data with NASA. And that NASA data is then used by scientists all over the world. So the idea is to begin with teachers. Teachers first become comfortable and become the students, if you will, for a week, a couple weeks before school starts.
We want the teachers to feel comfortable with the things that they are learning so that they can go back to their classroom and equip their students in a way that is hands-on and engaging and that brings the love and curiosity for the environmental stewardship that we have right here at the Clam Bayou.
Partnerships are extremely important when it comes to reaching our youth. We're like the torso, right? Like we have the resources, but we aren't necessarily the arms and the legs. We can distribute the resources and through partnership to the arms and the legs. So that might be our local colleges or our local nonprofits, our businesses. Through the use of their arms, we move things around, and through the use of their legs, we move forward.
I see it moving. Oh yeah, look, there's a couple pods.
We were over at the mangroves, and one of my students who never talks in class, I mean, he's just the most quiet kid. He's like shouting out the answer to what detritus is. And I was like, oh my gosh, he's speaking. So I'm like really glad that he got that moment to, you know, be heard and have a voice.
We asked a young man, what do you want to do? He says, I want to be a marine biologist. And that is exactly what we want to see. Kids thinking about their future, finding paths that they can make to be successful, and making sure that we facilitate that progress for them.
I hope that they all leave with some sort of curiosity. They leave with a question. Maybe we didn't answer everything for them, and they have to go on their own and inquire about it. Because no matter what you do in life, having that quizzical nature is necessary and will help you throughout both the lulls and the highs.
Clam Bayou was really fun. First, we went to go learn about plankton, then we went into the water. It was really cool. We caught all sorts of fish, 22 fish to be exact.
Can I hold that? Aw,
We just learned about mangroves, how they like absorb, and they have like some have salt on the back and that you can eat, but you can't eat the front because there's no salt on it. And they also can protect buildings, how like if a tornado or hurricanes come, it can protect the buildings.
We looked at microscopes to find plankton, and we got to draw the plankton that we saw. There was like these different organisms. It was clear. It was see-through.
I would tell them it's a whole bunch of fishing, a whole bunch of water. I would tell you there's people that will help you. You get to learn a lot of stuff. That's what I would really tell them.
District 5 is at the southern end of St. Petersburg. It's bordered by Tampa Bay to the south, Bogosiega Bay to the west, 4th Street South to the east, and as far north as 18th Avenue South. I'm Deborah Figgs Sanders, your council member for District 5, an immensely diverse district that is home to many of our city's treasures. To get in touch with nature, you can visit Maximo Park or Boyd Hill Nature Preserve to enjoy waterfront access, nature trails, all with family-friendly activities. Then there's Lake Vista's popular walking trails, playgrounds, and a dog park that encourages you to participate in a city initiative known as Healthy St. Pete. Also, education and academic excellence is important for our city. And in District 5, you will find 3 of Pinellas County Schools' finest in Bay Point Elementary, Bay Point Middle, and Lakewood High School. Not to mention the mighty Tritons of Eckerd College, a liberal arts waterfront campus which sits on the Gulf Peninsula of Florida's west coast. District 5 is a diverse makeup of cultures, communities, and socioeconomics that can be seen throughout our neighborhoods. Lake McGorry Shores offers a sense of community, or the pink streets in the Pinellas Point neighborhood that are a unique feature not seen anywhere else in the city. Our growing economy, friendly residents, and beautiful coastline showcases our best about living in St. Petersburg.
On the road, there are no second chances. When you're behind the wheel, nothing is more important than staying focused on the road. Your life and the lives of others are at risk. Put the phone away. It can wait. Don't drive distracted.
Sit, hike, go. Go, go, go.
I'm Officer Middlebrooks. I work with the City of St. Petersburg Police Department. I am assigned to the Police Athletic League.
And I'm Officer David Lopez, and my role here is to interact with the kids, create a positive environment, and be a positive role model in their lives. The idea of a police athletic league is very important.
It is important. It's important to have police officers interacting with the community.
It gives us as police officers the opportunity to create those relationships and change that mindset that police are there just to take you to jail. That's really not the case here. Kids know they can come here and have a good time and interact with police officers in a positive way. A lot of times they don't have certain resources, so we try and provide those resources for them. We have mentors here, we provide homework help, we provide recreation, we provide snacks.
My favorite part personally is probably the mentoring aspect of my job. There was a kid, they were having some problems in school. I started mentoring and having lunch with them and just giving them some positivity. And the teacher told me that they were doing better in class and that they were looking forward to having lunch meetings with me. So that made me feel really good, and it felt like I was definitely making a difference.
When these kids come in, it brightens their day to see the consistency of having a positive role model in their lives.
Foul on 3. 1, 2, 3.
A lot of times when they first start here, they may not take on to us as well, but as time goes on, you can see a relationship develop. There's one kid that started when I first walked into the center. He would hide behind tables. The beginning to the end period, from when he wouldn't even talk to me, he would hide from me, to now all of a sudden he can come up to me and give me a hug. That was a huge, huge difference. I always feel great coming to work. I mean, I know I'm gonna be having a good time with these kids, and we're here for a cause. We're here for the kids, and we want to make sure that we're putting them on a path to success. So being in a position where I can directly impact these kids on a one-on-one basis every day is a pretty good feeling, knowing that, you know, hopefully these kids are changing for the better, and hopefully I have a role in that.
Hi, I'm Chuck with the City of St. Petersburg Water Resource Department. Today, I want to talk about something small that makes a big difference: your sewer cleanout cap. Your sewer cleanout is an access point in your yard that allows you or a plumber to quickly inspect and service the pipe connecting your home to the city's sewer system. If the cap is missing or damaged, rainwater, floodwater, and debris can get in. And when rainwater enters the sewer system through an open cleanout, it can overwhelm the system, increase treatment costs, and even cause sewer overflows. The good news? It's a simple, inexpensive fix. A PVC cap costs just a few dollars at most hardware stores. Just screw it clockwise until it's snug. That small step helps protect public health, reduces costs, and keep both your neighborhood and the city's wastewater system running smoothly. So, check your clean out today and replace any missing or broken caps right away. For questions, call 727-893-7261 or visit stpete.org/waterresources.
Fire Tech Echo, Engine 5, District 10, District 5, Engine 4, structure fire.
If you truly want to be part of the best, then St. Pete Fire Rescue is for you.
I love this job. We have no idea what's gonna happen every shift. We just go to work. We don't know when the wind's gonna come.
When the public calls on us, it's normally their darkest times and their darkest moments, and they depend on us.
We have to trust each other. In a fire, all we have is the team.
You know, we go into some very dangerous situations sometimes, so we need that feeling like there's someone there right along with you.
The spectrum of how we positively impact every person in our community is huge.
St. Petersburg Fire Rescue responds to over 60,000 calls per year. Of those 60,000 calls per year, over 70% are medically related.
We are fire and EMS. We are one team together, but we also have a lot of other avenues that a firefighter or firefighter paramedic can progress in their career.
St. Petersburg has specialty teams, technical rescue team, a dive team, and the hazardous materials team. So it's above and beyond the normal fire training that you get.
takes a hardworking, selfless person with some good moral character. There's a lot of pride in this job and a lot of tradition that comes with it as well.
We're called to keep the citizens safe, but also keep each other safe. And you have to have that passion, that want to, that drive to not only do better, but be better.
I joined the military. I became a firefighter in the Air Force. It was a natural progression from the military service to a paramilitary organization such as St. Pete Fire Rescue.
The fire department is a semi-military organization, so we take direction through a chain of command. We train to an exhaustive level. We feel that the more you train, the better prepared you are to go.
I went through the cadet program. It was an awesome opportunity. Not only do they take you under their wing, they pay for your education, fire academy and EMT school.
We depend on each other. We live in an intimate setting. We live like in a house, and we're very much like a nuclear family.
It's brothers and sisters. We have our fun times. We like to play with each other. The best parts are always lunch and dinner, because when everyone sits at the table, we go over how our 2 days were when we got off, see what everyone's doing.
It's where you grow as a person. You kind of learn life lessons. Camaraderie is very important. It makes the job easier, not so much of a job.
You know, we're here every third day, so we treat this just like we treat our house. We have to clean the bathrooms just like we clean the bathrooms, take out the trash, make sure it looks good, clean the trucks, inventory the trucks. You take care of it just like you take care of your home.
Every station has a gym with full equipment.
The department's training division is very involved in health and fitness initiative.
We have an extensive behavioral health program. We assess risk within the fire department in 3 main areas. One is behavioral health, physical fitness, and on-the-job duties that we do, and then in training.
In St. Petersburg Fire Rescue, it's important to us to have a fire response service that reflects the community that we serve.
St. Petersburg is a very diverse city, and we can all work to reach a common goal together.
We've had folks that come to us and reach out to us, and that's the kind of trust we're looking for with our public.
One of our biggest programs is our Home Safe program, which provides free smoke alarm installations to City of St. Petersburg homeowners. Another big component is public education and community outreach. We provide public education on fire safety and injury prevention to citizens of all ages.
To me, being on the front lines as a first responder, I'm blessed every single day. There's no better feeling when you lay your head down at night and you're like, wow, I really had a hand in helping.
It's hard work, but it's hard work towards doing something great.
I know for a fact that I work for a really good fire department. It's an extreme honor.
You want to do something you love, this is the place. If you want to be the best, this is the place. You can't get any better place to work.
I'm Dan Gulick. Join our team.
Hola, me llamo Teresa Bieber Rishi. Únete a nosotros.
제 이름은 김희경입니다. 세인트 피터스버그 소방관에 가입하세요.
I am Aaron Walton. Join our team.
Evan?
Yes, sir. My name is Evan. I graduated from St. Pete.
St. Pete High? All right, good to meet you.
My name is Mario.
Mario.
From St. Pete.
Another Green Devil?
We have a license A, B, and C that allow you to move up through the ranks of a treatment plant.
Okay, 1, 2, 3, everybody.
The Mayor's Future Ready Academy is an innovative approach to providing opportunities for our young people and also fulfilling some of our workforce needs in city departments like Parks and Recreation, Sanitation, and Public Works. This was an innovative way that our departments thought to open the doors of opportunity to let our young people know about the career path, not just a job, but a career with the City of St. Petersburg.
Hey, good morning. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna send y'all with a field group. I think one is going to be manhole inspections.
Our Future Ready Academy really consists of going through each department through the city and then learning new experiences through each department and what each department consists of. You get to learn a lot.
Well, I'm with Water Resources Department right now, and we came out here to this manhole to see if the float should be moved.
The blower is ventilating the air right now, pushing all the toxic gas out and bringing fresh air in.
Today, we're trying to get the flow meter changed from one manhole to the next one. And one manhole, there's a lot of sludge, and then the other one, we just found out it is sludge in that one as well.
We have to use a blower to blow all the toxic gas out and put fresh air in the manhole so it's safe for somebody to go down there.
It's a good way to look at what they do behind the scenes. Coming out here, you actually see like they test the waters for how fast it's traveling, and they test the waters like to see like the gases and what's in it.
They clean out at the lift stations things that come through the toilet filtration system. That's like the flush wipes, they're really not flushable or biodegradable. There's just a lot of things that people flush that don't need to be flushed.
Today I'm with Park and Reds, the construction crew.
They building a clay pit. We had to stack all the bricks up and then make our own mix, spread it in so it can lock.
The cadets have opportunities to earn some other certifications outside of the classroom. These cadets were working on their CDLB, which means once they complete this particular program, they will be CDLB certified, which means that they'll be able to operate certain vehicles that you have to have the CDLB permits for.
So y'all did it. I'm proud of y'all. I swear I'm so proud of y'all.
Today I'm with the SPTO department and I'm with the traffic group.
Across the road, there's another pole box. Once we pull it through there, we're gonna run it up the pole and out onto the arm.
Today we were setting up radars, which kind of scan the cars when they pull up to the lights, giving signals to the lights so that they could turn.
We have sensors that will see cars. And what we did is we needed to add 2 sensors for north and south coming out of the dog track and coming out of apartment complex.
I've never been up that high, other than in like an airplane, but seeing the wires and how everything works was really cool. I want to have a job with the city so I can start my career, and then from that point on, just keep moving up.
You are a leader. You are important. You deserve everything that you desire. And St. Petersburg is a great place for you to achieve those things. Is that right?
The program was good. At some points it was a little hard to kind of, I guess, keep going, keep pushing through it. But being here today, it's really good. I feel very accomplished.
He started out and he continued and completed everything that he set out to do. So I'm proud of him.
I just think it's incredible when we talk about this program. 9 graduates, 6 full-time opportunities, 3 CDLs, 1 part-time. I mean, it's just incredible to think about what you've accomplished in that time period.
I feel like I'm real proud of myself. I feel like I did a good job throughout the whole program, you know, not giving up and just keep working so I can better myself in life.
I'm just so thankful for the program. It gives him a start in life, and I'm really, really proud of him.
You are the first. You set the standard, and you've proven the concept of this program. We want to make sure that whether you're with us for 5 years or for 50 years, that you know that you have the foundation to move forward in life and achieve anything that you all want to achieve. think a trailblazer is a person who looks at the needs of now without high regard for the status quo or the way we've always done things, but focuses their work on how you make our community better today and for generations to come. None of us stand on our own, and so in order for me to be elected mayor, there were so many folks in generations before me that had to fight even for the right to vote, or even for the right to be a full-fledged police officer like Leon Jackson. I just looked at myself as the next in a line of folks who are working to move our community forward. Without the Leon Jacksons of the world, I certainly wouldn't be in this position. And without guys like Bob Stewart, former city council member and county commissioner, who's one of my mentors, who served with both me and my father, you know, without those folks also pushing, we wouldn't be where we are today. You know, I attended the last segregated class at Melrose as a kindergarten student, that I'm able to go back to that and talk to those students as the 54th mayor of our city. That's a lot for one lifetime. As I go around the classroom, I do this for Great American Teach-In, and ask the kids, what do you want to be when you grow up? And the last time I went, there were 3 kids that said, you know, I want to be mayor, and 1 young lady who said she wanted to be president. That's what it's all about. It's just making sure kids understand you really can achieve. Progress doesn't happen without someone who challenges the status quo, the powers that be, and speaks up for folks who are largely silenced. There is such a thing as a silent majority, folks who are too busy putting food on the table, taking care of their kids or their parents, to be involved in the political arena. And so the folks that do that represent a lot of folks who can't be engaged. Find someone, reach out to someone that you admire who's made it, and reach out to them. Email, Facebook,